why in just a minute. But as always, joined by John Flaherty. If you're watching on YouTube, same guys, same place, different locale within that place. It is Typhoid Mary and Patient Zero in the quarantine contamination zone. Or the containment zone out on the patio.
Scott, I've thought about this once you made the decision that we were going to be outside. Yes. I went back all the way to the old Comiskey Park when old Harry Carey would sit out in center field and do the game. So this is our tribute to Harry.
It is. Well, I wouldn't call it a tribute. I'm not a big Harry Carey fan, so I wouldn't even have thought to pay tribute to him.
There are those of us who are within the split of not loving the Cardinals as much. Anyway, great night for football. I mean, really, it is.
It's beautiful.
It is cool to be out here and to see the crowd coming in. It's very exciting.
And it is different. We talk about ambient noise on broadcasts, and this is one of those nights where the ambient noise is actually going to come from the ambiance from just directly below us. We are outside of the press box for good reason. You might remember last Friday night, Coach Flaherty said several times that he had a bit of a tickle and coughed a couple of times on air. Well, of course, that led to the inevitable diagnosis on Saturday of COVID-19.
I had the double dose. I not only got diagnosed with COVID-19, I am now battling bronchitis.
Oh.
So
does give you that a sexier radio voice, though.
Well, I'm talking from the back of my throat so hard so that when I come home, my wife says, you better be able to talk. Or I don't want to hear from you the whole weekend.
I was going to say,
that's
that would
be like,
wouldn't that be like a weekend off if you didn't talk?
Well, just makes the Iowa State game all that much better. So
and the opening weekend of NFL football as well. Yes, of course. So I get the text on Saturday from Coach Flaherty that says, hey, just want to let you know I just tested positive for COVID. And I said, okay, no worries. Well, then Sunday night I started to feel a bit different. I wouldn't say bad necessarily, but a little tickle in my throat as well, and perhaps a little bit of a low-grade fever. But I kind of attributed it to a long night Friday, a short night of sleep before a long day in Iowa City on Saturday at the Iowa game. Oh, but that's a different story. We'll save the commentary on the Iowa offense until later in the game when we have some time. But sometimes when Scott gets a little run down, my body responds by just kind of shutting down and giving me head cold symptoms, allergies really act up, so on and so forth. So I took a COVID test myself just to be safe on Sunday night. Nothing. I was good. So Monday morning I get up and I put flags out for Labor Day. Tim Lundgren's a member, he, of course, is my boss. I work in his office. He works or volunteers for the Optimist Club, and we put out flags every major holiday. And so I put the flags out, and I got back from Happy Joe's after a meal, and I was like, I'm just feeling
off.
I just felt a little logy.
Yeah, just feel off.
My wife Kelly hates that word, but I felt logy.
It's a good word when you're sick.
And I had what I like to refer as postnasal drip, where sometimes when you feel like there's always just something seeping into your throat, no matter how much you swallow, you can't get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. So I took another COVID test, and bada bing, bada boom, after 10 consecutive negatives in the last 2.5 years, I came back positive. So, not bad news. We're ugly. You don't want people to look at us anyway. John Munford over here trying to figure out a way to make the YouTube feed even better so they can see those who are talking. So anyway, long story short, both Flair and I have had COVID this week. We've been battling it, and so you're going to hear some coughs tonight. You're going to probably hear some sneezes from me.
Yes,
what I tell you right there.
Exemplified.
Perhaps raspy voices. But either way, the idea is that we did not want to infect people any more than we had to, and so John and I talked to Jay Huff, and we said, you know what, could we broadcast? It's going to be great weather. Could we broadcast from the patio, which is just to the south of the press box, and that's where we are.
Infect people any more than we had to.
Right. Well,
like we had a desire to want to do that.
I'm just convinced that as patient zero, you just walked around last Friday night when I wasn't looking.
Well, see, I can't be patient zero because somebody had to get to me.
But you're patient zero to me.
Well, I should always be number one to you.
I'm Typhoid Mary.
There you go.
This is Typh, and this is patient zero. Anyway, we're out on the patio tonight. Beautiful night for football. We'll go ahead and get to it right now since we've been talking about it so much.
Remember when we had those days when you said, hey, we could spend 30 minutes talking about the game?
Yeah, and we will.
So now this is the opportunity.
Let's got 29:40 because I did not talk to Coach Krekel last night. Again, did not want to infect him.
Right.
So did not have the pregame interview. So it is just John and I all pregame show tonight.
Let's
but
go.
Your Zeisers landscaping game time conditions, not a cloud in the sky. You look up, you look over, you look out, not a cloud anywhere. Blue skies as the sun sets behind us to the west. Temperatures 81 degrees, humidity at 47%. So a nice, comfortable 81 tonight. Wind out of the southeast at 7 miles per hour. So if you can feel it at all coming from where we are down in the bowl, there is a bit of a breeze up top. You don't feel it too much down low, but it is at our back and blowing, or I should say it's in our face and kind of blowing from the far corner of the end zone across the field toward Clark Fieldhouse.
Yeah, you can. I mean, this is a night, if you're a player, you want to have a night like tonight. Just enough wind to keep you cooled off, but warm enough to keep everything flowing and to keep yourself stretched out as you go through the game. Still another night where you got to make sure that you get in hydration and make sure that you are in a position where a lot of these players on both sides, you're going to see, again, another night where you have about 9 to 10 guys who are going to go both ways. And, they're going to have to remain hydrated. Now, this is the last game that I'll probably talk about it because you're into the, 6th week now of the season, not counting, from your preseason on. And so you should be beyond that. You should be in what we call football condition. You should be able to go and handle it. Guys, right now, coaches are going to start looking at how to peel back on the practice sessions and how to keep everybody fresh and how to keep everybody energized for the weeks to come. So this is kind of a big night for both teams as they come in 1-1. And so we'll be looking at really two different styles of offense. And if you were here at the preliminary game, curtain raiser, freshman-sophomore game, you saw that, and the Oskaloosa Indians did a very nice job with their offense, coming away with a 40-13 win over our young guys. And so that's what you're going to see tonight, Scott. You're going to see a wide-open offense that likes to use gaps and seams to put defenses in trauma, for lack of a better term. And they have a very good, deep, vertical passing game. And as we've talked to Coach Krekel and some of the other coaches, this is not the most mature pass defense that the Greyhounds have had over the last few years.
Well, these two teams, as you said, two very diverse ways of going about offensive football. Burlington, the third best rushing attack in Class 4A. On the converse, Oskaloosa, Trevor Willett, you'll hear his name all night tonight, has thrown it 65 times through 2 games. For those math managers out there, that's 32.5 times per game, so about 8 times per quarter. You're going to hear about Trevor Willett putting something in the air. Burlington's had 9 guys rush for any sort of yardage this year. Oskaloosa's had 8 guys catch a pass this year. So 2 very different ways, very similar to what you're probably going to see tomorrow, for example, in Iowa City, where Iowa's going to try and run the football, can't really throw, whereas Iowa State's probably going to try and be more balanced, if not even throw a little bit more.
Right, and you're gonna see a tale of 2 different types of defenses too. You're gonna take a look at a Burlington defense that loves to attack the single gap, loves to bring guys in a double A stunt, or bring a guy off the edge to try to disrupt the game plan for the opposing team. You're gonna see an Oskaloosa defense that likes to sit back and play base defense, read and react, and make some solid tackles in the backfield.
I'm telling you, my lungs are not full. This is just simply from talking. It's like you've got that little hair that sits in the back of your throat, and every time you jiggle those vocal cords, it makes me cough. I am not I feel fine. It's just from talking too much. So these two teams 1-1, as John said. Oskaloosa opened up its season at home against Ottumwa 2 weeks ago, fell 21-20. The opponent for the Greyhounds next week had to rally, and in fact, Ottumwa has rallied to both its victories, trailing by double digits in both weeks of the season so far in the fourth quarter before rallying for wins. Last week at Knoxville, the Indians were able to take care of business, led 14-6 midway through the fourth quarter, got a pair of late scores to win 28-6. Of course, Burlington in their opener at Washington 2 weeks ago lost 21-14, rebounded with a 35-21 win here last week at Bracewell. And again, the hallmark of this Burlington team, is what we expected it to be, because Jim Krekel said from the time he was hired, I want to run the football, I want to run the single wing, and I want to run the veer. Last year, Bryant Williams ran for 322 against Oskaloosa. Completely different way going about it, but still, you've got the third best rushing attack in 4A.
And we talked about it at the beginning of the season, that it was going to be by committee, and it's been good to see the emergence of a guy that we hadn't talked about even at the beginning of the season, and that's Dimitri Donald, number 11, the junior, who got some reps in last week. I think he had 65 yards on his carries, which was good. And you saw some of the elusiveness that Bryant Williams had last year. Caden does a nice job. He's a missile. He'll hit the corner and out-sprint some people, but he's not afraid of putting the shoulder down. Nolan Simpson.
Caden Shizzle, the Mizzle.
The missile.
Yeah, you'd have to be a little harder on his last name. Caden Shizzle, the Missile. There we go. Got a new nickname for Caden Shizzle.
All right, so it is good, and we know what Nolan Simpson brings to the party. He's gonna want to try to take your head off when he comes in. And then we haven't seen a whole lot of Mr. Nixon, because he's been playing down at the tight end spot, but he scored the opening score of the year. So we have those guys, and there's some other guys that you can mix in. The thing that we have talked about that has improved has been the quarterback play from the passing standpoint, and this is not a knock against Kanye Baker last year and his 2 years. We've talked about that at length, but Gabe has been a quarterback his entire football career, and he's been able to hit Alex Fawcett in some very unique and timely situations, and Alex has done a nice job catching and getting some yards after the catch. So these total yards that the Greyhounds get come by way of committee instead of way by one person. So that's exactly what we've been talking about through the beginning of this year. So as we enter the end of the first third of the season, this will be a good test for us to see where we can go from there.
Why aren't we talking about Gabe Robinson's arm? He leads the team in rushing with 169 yards through 2 weeks. So let's talk about his legs as this pregame show goes on. Let's take a break here on the Queso's Mexican Bar and Grill pregame show. At Queso's Mexican Bar and Grill, explore new flavors or enjoy the traditional Mexican dishes you already love. Dine in or carry out. There's something for everyone at Queso's Mexican Bar and Grill right here in Burlington. Let's step away for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll get to the other details about tonight's game, including the Des Moines County Historical Society history of the series and the Diamond Vogel colors of the game, among other things. Coming up as the pregame show continues, Indians and Greyhounds getting ready to kick it off here in about 22 minutes on KBUR. pregame show. Unfortunately, John, we'd already done the Zeisler's Landscaping game time conditions.
Yes, we have.
And there's Scotty right there. Did you hear us on the radio?
It is the celebrity corner now with both Scotty and John Hart.
It'll go one of two directions.
We're out there, so
we will either get pelted by raw vegetables and fruits.
Nina wanted a shout out to somebody. I'm not sure.
To who?
Who were we shouting out to?
This is kind of like being a part of the bleacher creatures.
I love it. I just need to.
Far too much accessibility.
If we had our crowd control people,
when you're as important as we are, the people are flocking.
Yeah, I can see that. That's why my house will be locked when I get
All right.
So
John Flaherty, Scott Mason, patient zero, and I always forget what my name is.
There we are. We're back on the big screen. We're right there. Good to see you.
Des Moines County Historical Society, history of the series. Let's get to it. The last meeting, of course, was last year, September 10th, week 3 of the 2021 season. Oskaloosa leads the series all-time 4-0. Right here in Burlington, it's 2-0. They haven't played here, John, in how long? Take a guess.
102 years. Am I close?
101 because you cheated and you looked. They haven't played here since October 15th of 1921. They've played here twice. October 24th of 1914 and October 15th of 1921. Oskaloosa, of course, won both those games. They played once on Friday. That was last year. They've played once in week 3. Yep. That was last year. They've never played here in week 3. Their first meeting was on October 24th. We already talked about it. 19 and 14. Week 5, Oskaloosa took care of the Rounds 13-0. Of course, the streak. I apologize. Of course, the streak is Oskaloosa's won all 4 meetings. Last Oskaloosa win was last year on their home field, 24-19. Your final score. All-time points: Oskaloosa 125, Burlington 26. It has been all Oski all the time. Time to break that streak.
Yeah, and it was really an entertaining game last year, and it came right down to the end. And I hope there's a little bit of revenge factor for these upperclassmen as they come into tonight's ball game. But going over some miscellaneous Burlington facts as we get in and continue our pregame show. That again, at home, Burlington is 318, 214, and 16 overall. Scoring first, again, I think this is the most crucial thing for us. They are 379, 91, and 8. So that is something that we need to look at tonight. Will they get on the board first? When they are at home on week 3, they are 38 and 23 and 2. And on September's, they are 173, 171, and 8. So September has not been the kindest month to them as they go. And then September 9th at home, we are evened up at 2 and 2.
But 2 and 9 overall. So September 9th even worse than the month of September as a whole. And, of course, as we said earlier, Oskaloosa and Burlington did not play for nearly 100 years. They had a break in the series from October of 21, that's 1921, until last September of 2021.
Scott, being outside might cause something to go with the lights. I'm not sure what's going on. I do. I absolutely know what's going on. These beautiful lights that have been put in here, if I must go.
There they go.
Come on a timer.
As you talk, they come on. So 7:19 evidently is
they
when
come
the,
on. And the
timer
beautiful
is
thing
set.
is, the old halogen lights, you could just hear them burn and try to get cranked up. And now I think all Jay Huff, the activities director, has to do is just get on his, everything's an app. You just app it up and pitch it out, and there you go. So.
Well, that was your history of the series, brought to you by the Des Moines County Historical Society. Fun activities and events for the entire family. Make sure you check out their future events on the Des Moines County Historical Society Facebook page. Scores from around Southeast Iowa. Well, there are no scores, but here are the games from around the area. First off, Central Lee will play host to Albia tonight. Both teams are 1-1, looking for victory number 2. Columbus, when was the last time the Wildcats even received votes? Well, they did this week in Class A, the top 10 poll by the Associated Press. They will play host to Wapello. The Indians 1-1, Columbus undefeated at 2-0. Cardinal on the road looking for its first victory in 3 games at Davis County. In an 8-man matchup, English Valleys will play host to unbeaten Waco. Waco 3-0. They've got that extra game they played in week 0. Highland plays host to Wilton looking for its first victory tonight. The Beavers from Wilton received votes in the Class 1A poll this week. Mid-Prairie at 2-0 received votes in Class 2A. Will travel to Iowa City to take on Regina. Mid-Prairie 2-0. The Regina Regals are 1-1. And Van Buren on the road at Louisa Muscatine tonight. The Warriors 1-1. The Falcons are 0-2.
So here we go. As we go on, we're looking at North Cedar playing at Pekin tonight. North Cedar's 0-2, Pekin's 1-1. Mediapolis travels all the way down to West Burlington, the battle of perfect scores. And Mediapolis is 2-0, while the Falcons are 0-2. And I got to tell you,
homecoming tonight.
And I got to tell you, I have been able to watch some film on the Falcons, and they are playing hard. They're just, again, a couple years ago, not enough cards in the deck, and that's exactly what Joe Bowman and his staff are ranked up to this year as well. New London will be over in Winfield as they take on the Winfield Mountain Union Wolves. Winfield Mountain Union had their first loss last week. Cam Buffington didn't get any action, and so that turned the tide. Centerville is 2-0, going up to Sigourney to play Sigourney Kyoto, who is now 0-2. That's a strange feeling for the people up there. They're probably going to be having some questions. And then finally, Solon is 1-1 as they travel to Williamsburg, who is perfect on the season so far.
Probably the matchup of the night in Southeast Iowa. Number 1, Williamsburg in 2A, hosting number 7 in 3A, the Solon Spartans. Solon Spartans. Did miss one in there. Clear Creek Amana on the road at Washington tonight. Washington has won its first 2, of course, week 1 against Burlington. Won again last week. They'll play host to the Clippers from Clear Creek Amana. Both teams receive votes. Clear Creek in 4A, Washington in 3A. Around Class 4A District 3 tonight, Clinton, the River Kings, who are 1-1. They'll play host to Central DeWitt. Central DeWitt received votes this week in the top 10 3A poll. Number 5 in Class 4A North Scott, probably the game of District 3, I should say. Number 5 in Class 4A North Scott, undefeated at 2-0. On the road, as they say. They head to Brady Street tonight. They'll take on Davenport Assumption. The Knights are 1-1. They're ranked number 9 in Class 3A. Mount Pleasant, the Panthers, still looking for their first victory tonight. They are on the road at Keokuk. Of course, Keokuk also 0-2. Fort Madison, the Bloodhounds, received votes in this week's Class 4A poll. They're on the road at a very good and much improved Fairfield squad. Yeah. The Trojans 1-1. And Iowa City, Liberty. Number 6 in Class 4. Remember how many times we had to hear that last year?
I really grown to dislike the commercial.
Yeah, and the jingle. Not the commercial per se, but the jingle.
They just canned the jingle.
They played it way too much.
Right.
Liberty, the Lightning, number 6 in Class 4A. They're on the road tonight, taking on Western Dubuque. Western Dubuque still looking for its first win of 2022. Let's take another break real quick. When we come back, it'll be about time for tonight's Reinschmidt's Flooring America National Anthem, and we'll also get to the Diamond Vogel colors of the game as the pregame show rolls on. The Indians and the Greyhounds will kick it off here in about 12 minutes. Don't go anywhere. The pregame show continues on KBUR and KBUR.com.
Good evening. Tonight the Marching Greyhounds will be performing Go Get 'Em Greyhounds, Rock That, and September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Marching Greyhounds are directed on the field by Drum Major Jason Stivers, Catherine Taylor, and Elena Yeager. We ask that gentlemen please remove their caps, and all who are able to do so, please stand in honor of our country as the Marching Greyhounds perform our national anthem. We ask that you direct your attention to midfield, where Oskaloosa captains Waylon Bullenbaugh, Dave Musterkamp, Gordy Barnhart, and Jordan Barnes meet Greyhound captains Nolan Simpson, Dave Robinson, Julian Perez Hall, and Gunnar Short for the coin flip. The officials for this game are Robert Barta, Ray Carley, Bill Jacobson, Kurt Johnson, and Kyle Larson.
From Bracewell Stadium, Marilyn Miller Senior Family Field. It is time to kick things off. Week 3 of the high school football season. Two teams at 1-1 trying to get on the winning side of the ledger as they head into their final non-district battles a week from now. Burlington trying to avenge a 24-19 defeat last year in Oskaloosa, their first loss of the season at that point in time. I missed who won the toss. I missed who's kicking. What's going on?
I was just mesmerized. I believe we won the toss.
Okay.
But I was mesmerized by number 77, Jordan Barnes' game socks for Oskaloosa. They are amazing. They are striped from calf to knee.
I thought maybe you were going to talk about a flow, like like JPH has some flow.
Yeah, there's a lot of flow. Gunnar Short and his hair. I think Nolan Simpson's got the shortest hair on the squad, it looks like.
And I'm a tightly cropped kind of guy.
Yeah, well, we're old, and that's the way it should be. So the Greyhounds have won the toss, and they have elected to receive. And so we have Keyshawn Wild in deep, and I believe Dimitri Donald is deep for the Greyhounds as well, as we get set to kick it off here, and it looks like it's going to be
11-4.
Jamar Case for the Indians to kick it off.
Keyshawn Wild and Dimitri Donald back deep for the Greyhounds. Oskaloosa will boot it from right to left on your radio dial, which is from south to north down here at Bracewell Stadium. So essentially Burlington will, in the first quarter at least, have the wind, if there is any wind at field level, in their face.
Well, that'll be important for Coach Krekel because he'll want to get the ball up in the air as much as possible.
Linus Morrison gets us underway. A short kick up the near sideline, going to hit it about the 20, take a forward roll, going to be taken at the 15, across the 20, 25 to near the 30. Out of bounds just across the 30 is Keyshawn Wilden. So the Greyhounds will start their first drive of the night at their own 31-yard line.
What I liked about that, Scott, is the fact that Keyshawn just decided he was going to make a statement about his first offensive touch in varsity football by running over the contained guy, and that's Parker Lewis for the Indians of Oskaloosa. So good field position as the Greyhounds start their first possession of the night.
First down and 10, Greyhounds from their own 31, I formation set. Donald, the deep man, behind Nolan Simpson. Gabe Robinson turns, gives it to Simpson, rides right up into about 3 white shirts off the left side of center. Gain of 1 up to the 32 as they will give him those 3 feet, but nothing more. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Wyatt Grubb, again, this is a base defense. They're not going to come out and do a lot of stunning, but they will flow hard, and 47, Wyatt Grubb, showed you just how hard they're going to flow as he ran into A-gap and was able to stop Nolan for a short gain.
Phil Phillips checks into the lineup for the first time, brings the play in. 2nd down and 9. 2 tight formation, wing back to the left side, I formation set. Donald again dots the I. Here's a give to Simpson right up the gut. He's got running room 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10. Can he outrun the last defender? He can, into the end zone. Touchdown, Greyhounds.
So close. I'm so excited. Great trap. You had 2 vertical tackles. Trent Hoffman did a nice job on the kick there. Not expecting Nolan to get it. Don't throw your hands up until you are in the purple, please.
You think?
So
watch this. He put his hands up for the touchdown signal at the 4-yard line with a defender within about 2 steps.
So look at that trap right there. Nice job, head inside. Great job by JPH. And the backside guard, Gunner Short, of walling it off. And I'm telling you, what a great opening drive for the Greyhounds.
Brendan Winky in to try the extra point to make it 7-0, and he does. 56 seconds into this one, miss a little, miss a lot. 68-yard touchdown run, Nolan Simpson. Oskaloosa will try to respond when we come back on the other side of this timeout. Back in 1 minute on KBUR. Back here.
Oskaloosa. Christian Snyder kicking off for the Greyhounds.
Here at Bracewell Stadium, sometimes there are glitches in the broadcasting of a football game, and that's all right. 7-0 Greyhounds, 68-yard touchdown run by Nolan Simpson. And we're back underway as Christian Snyder boots it deep. Going to be taken on the 14-yard line on the far hash mark. 20, 25, 30. Far sideline, and run out of bounds is number 3 for Oskaloosa.
Waylon Bolbaugh.
Waylon Bolbaugh is a name you will hear a lot as a receiver as well. He takes it out to the 39-yard line, and that's where Oskaloosa will start their first drive. Make it the 37 now that I look more closely.
A lot of officials standing in different places, Scott, but it looks like they are going to hammer it down on here on the 37. So, Scott, this is where the challenge really begins for the Greyhound defense. This is a strong pass team, even though stats say they're 50-50. And will our young defensive backs be able to maintain and contain the Oskaloosa receivers?
Shotgun formation, single setback behind the quarterback. That is Trevor Willett. Willett hands to the tailback on the first play from scrimmage, and Nolan Simpson, who just ran for 68, just dropped the tailback. Dom Pearsall back for a loss back to the 34-yard line of 3.
Yeah, and I just think that's part of what Oskaloosa will do on schedule to see what kind of run defense they'll have. So can we stay back within this linebacker level and read and run into the gaps instead of coming into some double A stuff, which may cause to have some lanes? So even though Oskaloosa doesn't huddle, they are never in a hurry to get a play off.
Stack formation to the left side, 2 wide receivers, one on top of the other, separated by 2 yards. Single setback to the left of Willett. Willett going to throw on 2nd and 13, does. Throws near side, flag thrown on the play, incomplete. We'll see what the flag is. Pass intended for A.J. Lawrence.
Great coverage by Vance Walsh there for the Greyhounds as he was just playing. They're playing just a soft cover 2 here. And they're waiting for these receivers to make breaks, and so it's going to be crucial by these guys up front, Shulka, Baker, and I'm looking at Short probably on the far side, to be able to put some pressure on. And my guess is that defensive coordinator Jordan Webb is going to be looking for some backside pressure. Hold on.
There's a holding call on the Greyhound defense, so it's a 10-yard walk-off from the previous spot. So it'll make it 2nd down now and 3 after the penalty. This is the same crew John and I talked about from last year's Fort Madison game. So we'll see.
That entertained us well.
Yes, we'll see if they rise to the occasion tonight. Last year, you may recall, if you watched the YouTube broadcast as I did, game got a little out of control because it got chippy. Here's a shovel pass inside to the big fullback. That's number 47, Wyatt Grubb. Officially a pass up to midfield. That's going to be a gain of 7.
Yeah,
and a first down.
Good flow, everybody from the defensive line. Coming there. Zave gets taken out, and nice hole for the Indians here.
Actually a gain of 6. So first down and 10 from midfield. That penalty really helped. Took a 2nd and 13, turned it into a 2nd and 3. Wide receivers either side. Wing back to the right side as well. Tailback now just to the right of the quarterback, Willett. Willett going to throw quickly. Just a one-step drop and a quick hitch route, but incomplete, intended for Waylon Bolaball to be 2nd and 10.
Good job by Caden Sizzle the Missile. If I get that right, I'll work on that name for you. But Caden did a nice job of staying in the vertical passing lane and was able to get his hand up and maybe get a distraction here and made the catch a little bit more difficult than it could have been. See, look at Scott. Look at 77. Look at those socks.
That's. I like stripes.
We need to invest in some.
2nd down and 10 now from midfield. Here's a turn and give to the tailback. Single back and brought down by Simpson after a gain of 2 is Pearsall. Pearsall with a gain of 2 makes it 3rd down and 8, and an opportunity early on for the Greyhound defense to change sides and give it back to the offense.
Great patience by Nolan right here. Steps into the hole, runs flat. Able to make the tackle for little to no gain here.
I think it's Pearsall or Pearsall. There's only
Pearsall.
one L, so I'm thinking it's Pearsall. That's how Engberger's pronouncing it in the PA booth.
And if he's doing it, then we're going to do it just
we're going to go with it. 2 wideouts to the left side. That's the wide side of the field on 3rd and 8. Willett going to throw. Between the hashes, he's got a man. That's Grubb. Grubb all the way down. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling down to the 12-yard line. That's a pickup of 36. It'll be 1st and 10. And for the first time tonight, Oskaloosa into the Matt Rinker State Farm and Rocket Mortgage red zone.
That's really not on the defensive back. That's on Deshaun Kennard. Playing that backside end, you can see on the replay he doesn't get a contact on him, allows him to run the seam pretty easily, and then it's just trying to bring down a very big physical runner.
No heights or weights listed, but that dude is a bowling pin. Here's a give to Pearsall, and Pearsall hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped, no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 12.
Man slow getting up on the play. Looks to be Nolan Simpson. These are 2, Nolan's a big guy, but number 7, Pearsall's a big dude too, so there's going to be some heavy wood being laid on some people here tonight.
Oskaloosa to the line of scrimmage, as they always are, as John said. Turn to the far sideline. Get the play as a group, but not in a huddle. On the right side is going to be Waylon Bolaball, and in the slot, A.J. Lawrence on 2nd down and 10. Single setback is Pearsall behind Willett. Man in motion, right to left. Here's a give to Pearsall on the delay. And he's hit at the line of scrimmage, but able to pull forward inside the 10, down to about the 8-yard line. That's a gain of 4.
Nice job by Owen Baker stepping in and getting his hands on him, but we need to get him more help early. 3 or 4 yards after contact cannot be the standard course for this Greyhound defense.
7.5 minutes remaining, first quarter. Greyhound scored on their 2nd play from scrimmage. 7-0 Burlington, but Oskaloosa knocking on the door.
You would have thought with an offense like this, Scott, that it would be Burlington chewing up the clock and not Oskaloosa.
3rd down and 6 from the Burlington 8. Man in motion, Lawrence from left to right. Willett wants to throw his direction. He does, but right there to make the tackle and throwing him down as Caden Schissel the Missile throws him down. It actually goes for a loss of 1 to the 9, so it'll be 4th down and 7.
Nice man coverage by the entire Greyhound defense. Quarterback wanted to go into the back corner, but had to come back inside or come back to the flat here. Nice job by Caden with the stop right after the catch.
Well, they're going to try a field goal as Oskaloosa, so in to try and put it between the uprights is Linus Morrison. Morrison, a freshman from the left hash, will try it from 16 yards. Make that a 26-yarder, ball spotted at the 16. Snap is good, spot is good, kick is good. 6:22 remaining, 6:21 as the clock continues. Stop the clock, stop the clock, stop the clock. Stop the clock, stop the clock. Stop, there we go. Ran about 8 seconds off. Kick is good from 26 yards. Burlington 7, Oskaloosa 3. Back in 1 minute with the kickoff. To get things back in
the sickness it affects the way you talk.
Back in a minute on KBR.
Morrison to kick off. Keyshawn Wilden in the maintain battle.
Back underway, and Wilden drops the ensuing kickoff at the 11, picks it up, able to get across the 20, up near the 25. They're going to spot at the 24, return of 13 yards. So the Greyhounds leading 7-3 will start their second drive of the night from inside their own 25.
One of the things that Keyshawn's got to learn how to do as he gets older, playing at the high school level, he cannot change directions like that. He just go ahead and plant your foot and accelerate, use the speed that's been given to you so that you can get yourself down the field.
Get as many yards as you can get going north to south instead of east to west. Halfway through the first quarter, Grounds took 2 plays to go 68 yards the last time they had the ball. We'll see what they do on this drive. 1st and 10 from their own 24. Robinson under center. Fake to the first man through. He's going to pitch it to Donald, trying to get the left side. Now reversing field, coming back up the middle between the hash marks. He gets the 25, maybe got a yard. We'll see where they spot it. Either way, it's not very much. It'll be 2nd and long.
Whale and Bolaba did a nice job along with the defensive end here for Oskaloosa in keeping contain and playing assignment football. This is what you have to do with this offense. You can't go chasing after ghosts and reads, and that's why Nolan was able to score.
Or waterfalls, as TLC would say. Don't go chasing ghosts and reeds. Sometimes I think I know you, John. 2nd and 10, Robinson going to throw, going to roll right. Has a man, but threw it just outside the reach of Alex Fawcett, his intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 10.
You know what? That's a nice little wrinkle in the offense now that they don't have to throw so deep. They run this little crossing route. Gabe hurried just a little bit, and the ball was just out of the reach of the diving Fawcett. So it brings up a 3rd and 10 for the Greyhounds.
So the first real adversity this offense has seen tonight. Again, 2 plays, 69 yards on the first drive. Now 3rd down and 10 from their 24-yard line. This may become a field possession game, or I should say field position game. You don't want to be forced to kick from the shadow of your own goalpost. Robinson gives it to Simpson, first man through. Ball was on the ground, however, never really got the transaction made from quarterback to fullback. Robinson falls back on it at the 20. A loss of 4 to be 4th and 14. Here comes the punt team.
Got to tell you, Oskaloosa's done a nice job. This is the first true 4-man front that Burlington has faced. Washington was a 3 front in their base. Along with last week's opponent, they're a 3 front. This is the first true 4 front, and they're doing a nice job of slanting one gap defense, causing some havoc with the blocking assignments.
Waylon Bolabaugh back at his own 40 to receive the kick from Nolan Simpson, who has his heels on the Greyhound 9. One step, kicks it away, end over end, frontward. Nice kick, going to hit at the 45, take a sideways roll, and now take an Oskaloosa roll out of bounds at the Oski 49-yard line. So they will start there, just short of midfield on their second drive, trailing 7-3 with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Gabe's 3rd punt of the year?
Nolan
punted.
Nolan punted.
So his 3rd punt of the year?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow.
First, well, maybe it could be a second. I'm not entirely sure, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so.
Can't remember. Well, actually, hold on. Keep talking, John. I may have made a note about this.
Well, here we go. This is a short field for the Indians as they get in here for their second possession of the game. And, you know, again, they're never in a hurry, and they're going to be very deliberate. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we get our hands on some tight ends to make sure that that vertical passing game gets disrupted a little bit.
Second punt of the year for the Greyhounds. Here's a give to the tailback, and that's going to be Dom Pearsall with a gain into Burlington territory to the 45. That's a pickup of 6.
Got a timeout on the field for an injured player. Don't want to give a number here just to make sure.
Well,
Nice.
let me get my binoculars out, and I will tell you.
I know who it is because I can tell by the socks. Yes.
77.
The great identifier. That is Jordan Barnes who's down. And this is not a cramp. This is something a little more serious. They're checking the rib area of Jordan right now, and this is a great timeout for the Greyhounds. kind of regather themselves and get themselves back into kind of a mindset of what to do defensively.
I think they might be up under his shoulder pads, checking his right shoulder, kind of manipulating his arm as well.
He looks to be okay. It might be just a stinger. Get him off, get him recovered a little bit. So,
you know, John, in looking at this uniform combo tonight, this is a different pair of pants than they had last week. At least on the photos I saw, I think their stripe down the sides was gray. Tonight's stripe is maroon. So
no, on the other side, Scott, it's gray.
Is it?
Yeah, they flip-flop.
Well, I'll be darned.
If they could just have their uniforms the same.
How old am I that I said I'll be darned? Well, that's a really, really dark gray, John. There we go. Yeah, I see it now. Huh. Crazy.
You can call me anytime if you want.
That's some wild, wacky stuff.
You are correct, sir.
Yes, sir. 2nd and 4 from the Greyhound 45. Willett and the offense check the sideline. Pearsall looks to his right, as do the receivers. Lawrence and Bolaball on the right side. Lawrence in the slot. Bolaball split wide. Grubb is your tight end to the left side. Here's a give to Pearsall. Lost his footing, trying to get through a hole between center and right guard. Instead, when nothing was there, tried to sprint it out to the right side. Just lost his footing short of the Greyhound logo. He lost 2. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
The run game is not what they want to do, and they will run primarily to the right side. Scott, it is in this part of their game where they're really good. It's in this passing game, getting in levels and making guys take guesses. So, again, can we sit and be stalwart in a
quick slant complete inside the 40. 1st down, yardage down to the 35. That's Waylon Bolaball on the catch.
It's so easy when there's space, and they do just a good job of making sure they have the right amount of separation in their formation. And the quarterback does a tremendous job of catching and just setting his feet and throwing. So,
gain of 12 on the play, another chain mover for the Oskaloosa offense. So 1st down and 10 now from the Greyhound 35. 4 for 5 for 53 yards early on is Willett. Simpson sprints off the field late. Willett going to throw deep down the right side. Had a man momentarily, but nice coverage on the far side by the safety, Derek Watson, and the pass was thrown out of bounds anyway. Falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Great discipline on the part of Derek Watson. He saw this little jailbreak wide receiver screen, but he knows enough to stay at home because they'll go ahead and release like they did. So, kid has a strong arm, doesn't he, Scott?
He does.
He can put that thing downfield.
Just wasn't all that tremendously accurate on that particular throw as it fell outside the wide white line that serves as the boundary. Trips to the left side, one receiver to the right. That's the short side of the field for Oskaloosa on 2nd and 10. Willett going to throw. Throws between the hash marks, overshot Grubb, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and long.
Hopefully the guys in the box and the guys down on the field talking to Coach Webb can understand that they've got to find a way to make contact with that inside receiver to get him off schedule so Willett can't just step and fire the ball. That's too easy of a release.
So 3rd down and 10, another opportunity for the Greyhound defense to find a way to get off the field. I will tell you, there seems to be a soft underbelly of this defense right now. It's between the hash marks. Wyatt Grubb has been open a couple of times. 3rd and 10. Willett going to throw. Deep down the left side, overshot. I should say it was kind of an in route and just off the hands of Bolaball. I thought he was throwing it deeper down the left side.
I thought he was throwing to Lawrence as well. But, again, you want your receivers to be greedy when the ball's in the air. So, yeah, I think he was looking right at A.J. Lawrence down in that deep curl zone. So, nice job by the linebackers of making sure that they cover up underneath.
JPH was there on the coverage. Had to make a hit. So it'll be 4th down and 10, and it would appear from the Greyhound 35, Oskaloosa is going to go ahead and go for it. Too short to punt, too long to try a field goal. Pearsall, the single setback, now in motion to the left side. Willett going to throw. Has a man, never turned around, did A.J. Lawrence, and it falls incomplete. Lawrence was open, had inside position on that throw, and I think Willett expected him to take an inside route. Instead, he never really looked and tried to find the football, and it falls incomplete, and the Greyhounds take over on downs.
Yeah, that's A.J.'s fault. That should have been a route where he broke off and went into the corner here, maybe a deep stick route. And I think that's what Willett was trying to tell them as they were getting off field. So another win by the Greyhound defense, and here we go. We've got to try to find some ways to get going. This is where you may see Gabe getting a run game with the quarterback counter, Scott.
2:39 remaining in the first quarter. Greyhounds lead 7-3 on a 68-yard touchdown run by Nolan Simpson. Dimitri Donald behind Simpson. Robinson going to keep it right off the left side. 40, 45, brought down across the 45. That's a first down. They're going to give him the 47 on a gain of 12 for the quarterback of Burlington.
You know, Gabe just gets sneaky yards, and I know they don't really work on keying the quarterback except if they're on the edge, and so this quarterback counter just works so well. And so now you want to kind of come back and get to the edge and maybe run an off tackle, get into your heavy formation, and just run some power football right at this left side edge would be really fun to see.
Greyhounds have had a couple of runs. Chunk yardage, they say. 1st and 10 from the 48. Here's a give to Simpson off the left side. He's got midfield. He's into Oskaloosa territory to about the 48, maybe the 47 with that last lunge. Now they're going to give him the 48, say his knee was down. A gain of 4 for Nolan. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Man, it's a fight in there. And, you know, Shilka's going up against a pretty stalwart guy. And Jonathan Linder, number 58, that inside tackle, he'll be playing into the 3 technique, which is the outside shoulder of John when the tight end's on the other side. So this is not the same group of defenders you saw last week. So you got to kind of button things up and get guys moved.
Robinson under center on 2nd down. Turn, fakes it to Simpson. He'll keep it, trying to get the right edge. Doesn't pitch it, just turns upfield. Gets a nice little gain of another 4 yards inside the 45 to the 43.
3 4-yard carries moves the chain, Scott, and that's exactly what Coach Krekel likes to see, is this ability just to continue to, as the late, great I've lost his
Hank
name.
Stram. COVID brain. Matriculate the ball down the field.
I was thinking Hank Stram, but again.
Toss 65, power trap. Good job, Leonard. Good job. 3rd down and 1 after the gain of 5. Robinson again with the fake, keeps it, but this time nothing doing as he stood up and driven backward by about 3 white shirts. Ashley lost a yard. It'll be 4th and 2.
Yeah, this is Linder again, making sure he's got great leverage and getting into the A-gap right at quarterback level.
Now, if you're Kirk Ferentz right here, you're punting this ball away with Torrey Taylor and putting Oskaloosa inside the 10.
There is that, but you know what works well for the Greyhounds, Scott?
You just go for
no
it.
No play.
Well, that's true.
No play.
18 seconds, although you've got to make a play. You're saying trying to draw them offside. No, they go for it. Simpson's got the 1st down. That'll be the last play of the first quarter, but he takes it to the 40 for a gain of 4. And so, after the opening 12 minutes, the clock will stop while they move the chains. 6, 5. Now they restart the clock. And so, as the clock expires, I can officially say 12 minutes in the books, 36 to go, 68-yard touchdown run by Nolan Simpson on the game's 2nd play. Stakes Burlington to a 7-3 lead as we go into quarter number 2. Back in 1 minute on KBUR. Stadium, Marilyn Miller Senior Family Field, where the Greyhounds lead 7-3. After the first quarter, Nolan Simpson, a 68-yard touchdown run, a 36-yard, or I should say a 26-yard field goal by Linus Morrison, the scoring in quarter number 1. Here's Robinson on a keeper, and I know you want to say something. We'll get to it in a second.
Nope.
Robinson still on his feet, They're trying to arm tackle him. Finally, somebody says, get this guy's legs, and after about 10 seconds of trying to gain anything, Robinson gained 4.
I thought I was down at Fort Madison at the rodeo. Number 13, Jaden DeRonde was just swinging, makes me laugh.
Don't laugh. COVID will make you cough when you laugh.
That's true. No, what I was telling some of the people off the air is that here we go. We're kind of getting into this heavy set right now. This is kind of what I wanted to see. We can just power off with the tackle here.
Robinson inside handoff, a counter action to Nolan Simpson, who just squares his shoulders up, bulls his way down inside the 25 to the 23. That's going to be a pickup of 13 yards and another Burlington first down.
Great misdirection call by formation. You think you're going off tackle to the right. Come back with that trap. Look at this. Here comes Gunner Short, a little wider. Great job by the Greyhounds moving the ball. Just, again, by setup and formation, they're going to overload because they feel power's coming that way. Great call by the offense.
So first down and 10 Greyhounds from the 23-yard line. Moving the football, leading 7-3. First 2 minutes here of quarter number 2. Robinson on another keeper. He faked it to both Shizzle and Simpson, and probably should have given it to either of the others because he got hit and driven backwards, and no gain on the play. And now somebody's slow to get.
Jonathan Linder has to come out. Helmet came off. A lot of pulling by this Oskaloosa defense. They're just grabbing jerseys and they're just trying to pull back. Nobody, take your time in the huddle. Being up this close with the monitor that big, you get to kind of see, some of the inside stuff. So,
play clock at 10. Second down and 10 from the 23. Robinson gives it. Another counter to Simpson. Simpson just pushing the pile forward. Took about 7 guys to bring him down as he works down inside the 20 to the 17. Make it the 18, so they'll give him 5. And for the first time tonight officially, on a drive anyway, the Greyhounds have entered the Matt Rinker State Farm and Rocket Mortgage red zone.
And this is exactly what the Greyhound offense needs to do because these guys on the other side of the ball block as well, and so they need to be pounded on for a little bit. Kind of get them wary for their side of the game here, Scott.
So third down and 4. Robinson gives it to Shizzle, his first carry of the night. Shakes the tackler inside the 10, 5. Oh, come on, Buck, let me call it first. Touchdown, Greyhounds.
You guys got to get on a text message and get him going.
17-yard touchdown run for Caden Shizzle. He's got 1 carry. He made it count. It's 13-3.
Man, nice job, Trent Hoffman, with the cutoff block. Good job downfield by Noah Nixon on there, and a better job by Alex Fawcett on not blocking anybody behind the back. So that's a good job. Good series. Good.
Nice footwork there by Shizzle, too, because he had to evade a couple of guys at his feet at the line of scrimmage. Christian Snyder in to try the second extra point of the night. He splits the uprights. 9:28 remaining in the first half. Burlington now on top 14-3 back in 1 minute on KBUR.
Team 3.
Back here at Merrill A. Miller Senior Family Field, back underway as Snyder kicks it away, taken inside the 10 at the 9, bringing up the near side and brought down just short of the 30-yard line for Oskaloosa is number 16, and that's going to be 15 actually, Carson Lopez. And Oskaloosa now trailing by 2 scores will start this drive at their own 28.
Scott, that may be the deepest I've seen a kickoff in the last 4 years here at Burlington High School, down to the 7. Great job by Zuriel Garrett, number 40, the inside linebacker and wingback for the Greyhounds. As a backup, did a nice job coming in. It's solid tackle here. So just got to continue to answer the bell to give them situations where they got to play from behind the chains.
Actually, that was a 10, not a 15 for Oskaloosa. That was Maddox Ashman on the return. Single wideouts either side. Single setback is Pearsall. He gets the handoff from the shotgun formation. Got 1 to the 24 before he was brought down by
Noah Nixon.
No, was it Noah?
Rafe Butheris.
Rafe Butheris. That's nice 30, job. Not 32.
Yeah, and Rafe's playing that backside linebacker here. Does a nice job. Again, we're not stunning. He just reads, comes behind the offensive lineman, and then is able to grab a leg and bring him down.
Now a duo, a pair of wide receivers to the left side. That's the wide side of the field on 2nd down and 9. From their 24, Oskaloosa. High snap, pulled down, Pearsall again. This time hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Nolan Simpson says, I've been hitting the weight room. Flexes over the top of Pearsall.
Sorry to laugh. You know, we've got Mike Berdar up here on the terrace, and you know what I want to break out? I want to break out
the DX.
Gives the full flex on the sideline to the student section.
See, the old man in me says evidently Nolan Simpson has never ever made a tackle before. That's how I watch the older guys. I'm like, I truly am a believer of act like you've done it before. But hey, I just am concerned anytime Nolan does something like that, he's going to get the flag. 3rd down and 10. Will it back to pass. Throw at the left half mark, in and out of the hand, picked off. That's Keyshawn Wilden with the interception and a return inside the 35 and a late flag thrown at the 40.
I think there's a horse collar, jersey, maybe even a targeting here.
I bet they pick it up.
Well,
remembering how it went last year.
We're taking our time to get over, even with the electronic communication, he's going to walk and go face-to-face. So
flag at the 40, return to the 33 of about 8 yards. He picked it off and got started at about the 41.
But a great job by the guys up front to put pressure. Ball's thrown a little bit. Throwing a little bit overhead. Keyshawn right in the right position in the zone.
Personal foul. Face mask on Burlington.
He does perplex me, Scott. He does perplex me. I don't know where that face mask would have come from. I hope we can get this back on replay. Interception.
On the interception
good. This is
return,
post-interception, yeah.
Scott Zeiser wants to know what happened.
Here it is, tip, good hand catch.
From the 47. So they're saying Keyshawn.
Oh, on the stiff arm.
Grabbed the face mask on the stiff arm.
On the stiff arm. He put his hand there. He got one right. We're good.
So 1st down and 10 as the Markov takes it back into Greyhound territory, the 45. Robinson, turn, fake to Donald, rolls right. That was a tremendous play by Gabe Robinson, I'll tell you why. I think that was designed to go to Donald, but he heard footsteps behind him. He knew Donald was going to get blown up.
Yeah.
So he kept it himself for a gain of 8.
Scott, good call. He did have the outstretched arms. Caught a sense behind him. Tucked in tight. Look at it again on the 3rd time. There it is.
There's no doubt in my mind that play was designed for Dimitri Donald to go left, but he was going to get dropped for a loss of 5, and instead Robinson takes it to the short side and gets 8.
Again, when you got QB instincts from day one, those kinds of things work out well for you. Still in this heavy formation, Scott.
Robinson, counter give to Simpson. He's got a 1st down. Inside the 45 to the 40, 35-30. He's pulling 3 white shirts with him. He will not go down.
Flex.
Finally does at the 28-yard line.
Come on, flex now.
28-yard line. That is a gain of 19 yards. Nolan Simpson now with 116 or 115 yards on 7 carries.
Now, I know you're not going to see it, but watch Gunner Short come right here, right now in 58. That's a pancake block. Coach Glasser is going to be handing out some pancakes tomorrow morning. Great job up front.
1st down and 10 Greyhounds at the Oskaloosa 28. 7.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. Greyhounds already on top 14-3, trying to build on this lead. Give Nixon on the counter this time, and Noah hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. Just hold on to the football. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I'm telling you, it is great contact all the way around on both sides, and everybody's going to be feeling it. Noah just come flying into the face of Wyatt Grubb, and he's going to be feeling things tomorrow morning.
Grubb actually looks like he was worse for wear after the hit. Noah just pounced right back up.
Yep.
Now Grubb leaves the ball game. And there's going to be a timeout on the field called by the Burlington coaching staff, so they want 60 seconds. We'll take half that. 6:59, a tick under 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Burlington 14, Oskaloosa 3, back in 30 seconds on KBUR.
Get hydrated.
We ask that spectators please not stand on the upper walkway of the stands. This is a fire and safety hazard, and it makes it difficult for others to get through as well. Please help out by finding a seat in the stands. We thank you for your cooperation.
Could not ask for a better night to watch a football game on Friday in September here in Southeast Iowa.
Or a better venue.
I say that all the time. I know I'm jaded, but
I wouldn't say jaded.
absolutely
I would
believe
say
it.
you're
Slanted toward us?
Yes.
Here's a pitch to Donald trying to get the left side. Plants his left foot, tries to turn it upfield. Not much there. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they're going to say he lost a yard, so it'll be 3rd down and long nonetheless.
This is where the young guys got to learn just to make it a race to the corner. Get to the hash mark, to the numbers, and then make the corner.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, preliminary call against the Indians. We will have to wait and see.
Face mask, 5-yard variety on Oskaloosa. Repeat 2nd down. So give Donald the -1, but then add 5 to it. So it'll be 2nd down and 6 as they will repeat the down. 2nd down and 6 from the 24-yard line. Here's a counter tray, if you will, to Owen Baker. As Baker cuts it up, he took it on a little reverse action, if you will. For those of you who used to listen to me call it a reverse all the time, that's a gain down to the 22-04, but it just nice little misdirection on that play.
Little inside counter here by Bake. Does a nice job of making sure he doesn't get
inside
too.
Counter. Just go counter tray, man. Inside
There
counter.
weren't 3 people going. It's just 2. So can't do tray if there's less than 3.
Okay. 3rd down and 4. And here's, that's Simpson right up the gut.
Seriously, Scott.
Simpson up to the 19. You know what that means, John? Not only is it a gain of 3, but
We're in a zone.
Burlington is in the State Farm the Matt Rinker State Farm and Rocket Mortgage red zone.
Scott, they really let us do this. They say, go ahead. Go live on air. And talk.
And you know what? We will, begrudgingly give you some money for it.
Well, I don't even care. I mean, it's just.
I've always said that. People pay us to do what we would do otherwise if we were sitting down in the stands.
Right.
And then on top of that, not only do we get to add to our living as there's a timeout on the field called by Oskaloosa, we have people tell us that they enjoy listening to us, which makes our heads even bigger.
We're going to push back, and add to our living is really, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But add to our living, it might help.
It allows us to take our wives out for being gone for 9 consecutive Fridays.
My wife's okay with it. Honey, I know you're at home watching the game, and I appreciate it, but she just doesn't want me calling the game from home.
That was an option for those of you who didn't know this. This was an option that Flair and I were going to call it from one of our basements and watch it on YouTube like everybody else here that may be at home watching and doing the same thing. And actually Matt Brown and John Mumford were all ready to try and figure out the logistics of doing that through YouTube, but I took their fun away. They were actually disappointed that we decided to show up tonight.
Well, why don't we do it on an away game? Like Clinton, where we really got to travel.
Make them go.
Yeah. Hey, it's all about advancing the company.
So it's 4th down and 1. Ball sitting at the 19-yard line coming out of the timeout. It's 5:29 remaining here in the second quarter. Robinson under center. I formation set. And the no-go.
No play.
The no play works as 2 defensive linemen for Oskaloosa jump. That'll take it to the 14. It'll be 1st and 10.
Do you remember Zach Shea's first year and they made the shift?
Mm-hmm.
This is the no play.
I do.
You know. Which Cordero was that?
I want to say Christian, but I know that's not right. Was it Christian?
Yeah, there you go. So many of those quality athletes in the Cordero family. I'm not sure which
Just
one, but
built
I think
like
it was Christian.
brick houses, as they say.
And can run like deer.
And there's still like 4 left. Robinson turns his hands off to Shizzle. Shizzle bounces it outside after getting hit in the line of scrimmage. Got to the 10 before he's brought down by his shoelaces by Waylon Bolabol.
Nice job. I mean, everybody's staying engaged. Nice job by the defense. Block and hold. Good job by Caden to continue to keep his feet. 5 yards again, you continue to get enough of those. We have a chance to get a first down here if we can get down to the 4-yard line. So
5 minutes left here in the second quarter. Burlington trying to add to their 11-point lead. They're at least in field goal range, as we know from seeing Snyder and Winkie both try extra points tonight with plenty of distance. Play clock at 5, game clock at 4:45. I formation set behind Robinson. Fake to Simpson, keeper off the right side. Gets a couple of blocks downfield, down to the 5. And that's going to be a gain of 5 and right at the sticks. We'll see if they move the sticks or if he's going to be about a yard short. Now, this is the problem with where we're at, is that the angle is such that we can't really see where it is in relation to the line to gain.
Nice job by Dimitri Donald. He doesn't get the ball, but he's going to help his teammates. Here we go.
Just
is this
short.
A no play or is this a QB sneak with the help from Nolan?
It's 3rd down and 1. Sneak by Robinson. Never had the football. Simpson fell on it, though. No gain on the play, and they're lucky to get the ball back are the Greyhounds.
That's good. We're right on the 5-yard line by the mark of this side judge.
You're moving the football. I don't think there's any second thought about this. You probably even try and do that again. And just say, Gabe, hold on to the football. That was simply a bad exchange. I don't even think it was a bad snap. I think JPH got it up to him. Robinson probably closed his hands too quickly.
Well, again, I don't think that's, you're trying to get into a gap. You're trying to see what gap you're going into, so that's going to happen.
And you just try to get too quick. So it would appear Jim Krekel's going to go ahead and run the play clock down, and they will call a timeout with 1 second remaining on the play clock and take a timeout. 3:17 remaining, second quarter. Burlington facing a 4th and 1 when we come back, but leading 14-3 back in 30 seconds on KBUR. Drive and give them a goal-to-go situation, leading 14-3. Really, John Flaherty has been dominant offensively when they've had the football tonight.
I've got it. They're going to run the fake 23 blast with a John Brown reverse.
I say the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Either one of those plays. And if anybody remembers any of the movies that those come from, they can go ahead and let us know.
I always make the reference to that
I
movie.
could see a no play here, and of course I can go ahead and see a quick count, but it looks like they're going to go off tackle left.
Robinson turns and hands it to Donald into the end zone, untouched. Touchdown, Greyhounds. 5-yard touchdown run by Dimitri Donald, and it's 5. It's a 5-yard run. It's 20-3.
Man, just off tackle left. Everybody's down. Phillip Phillips and Nolan Simpson kick out. He really doesn't get touched until he gets congratulated by his own teammates. Excellent drive. Way to come back from the penalty after the turnover.
Brennan Winkie in to try his second extra point of the night to make it 21-3, and it's blocked, and it goes out the back of the end zone. The first real negative thing to go in that direction for the offense or special teams. So 3:14 remaining in the first half. Burlington now on top 20-3, back in 1 minute on KBUR. There's a little bumper music. Live radio is all about
ebb and flow.
Bumping and juking and jiving and rope-a-doping and whatever you got to do to get out of the way of the bad things that the universe sends at you. 20-3 your score. Snyder gets us back underway. That kick going to be taken at the 17. Taken at the far sideline, 30, 35, 40. Scorches way out of bounds, just short of the 45-yard line, and that's going to be A.J. Lawrence giving Oskaloosa tremendous field position. But John Flaherty, 4 drives for the Greyhound offense, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but you can't fall asleep. I know that, we're coming down to the end of the first half, and it looks like we are well in control, but this is a quick strike offense.
Sure.
So you just can't say, okay, we're just going to kind of relax here and start putting in our other guys and start moving. We've got to play tough here, and those are the kind of plays, those blocked extra points and these big returns are the kind of things that can set an offense in motion.
Willett from the shotgun claps his hands, looks over the offense, throws with his right arm to the right side. Catch is made at the 45-yard line. That's Lawrence on the catch. They're going to give him the 46, so it's a gain of 5.
Man, nice job, Aiden Pfeiffer on the coverage with Shizzle coming in and Watson to finish up the play. That's the first positive play they've had in quite a while, Scott.
Yeah, that breaks a streak of 4 in a row. Incomplete for Willett. 2nd down and 5 from the 46. No real hustle, no real urgency right now for Oskaloosa as the clock ticks down to 2:35, trailing by 17. They will get the football to start the second half, so they could bookend it right here. Willett throws left, right over the outstretched fingers of who was that
that's
that almost
7,
had the pick?
Scott. It's kind of hard to see.
No, that's not 7. That's Shizzle, who almost had a pick right there. Falls incomplete as Waylon Bolabaugh had it come up just short.
Something with Willett's motion right now, it's not as clean as it was last week. He seems to be rounding a little bit more, like there might be a problem with his shoulder.
5 for 11 for 58 yards so far. Trips to the left side. That's the wide side of the field on 3rd down and 5 from the Oskaloosa 46. Willett flips the football in his hand, has to scramble, throws, has a man. That's Grubb, but Grubb's going nowhere. Grubb gets back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing more. Now, if I'm the grounds with 2:12, maybe I take a timeout right here.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be a little conservative, and I'm going to kind of throw an Iowa Hawkeye analogy here, that the big guy, 47 for the Indians, Chubb is like the only Grubb, is kind of akin to the Iowa Hawkeye tight end, and that's the only ball that we can get out is to those guys, and there's not much after the catch. So if I'm the Greyhounds, I go ahead and fair catch this thing, don't give them a big change of field, and let's just grind out the last minute and 40.
Parker Lewis to boot it away. Owen Baker waiting, and he'll watch it fall out of bounds just inside the 20. We'll see where they angle it, though.
25.
The white hat with his hands still 25. In the air. Now points, and that'll stop the side judge at the 26. So a kick from the 45 to the 26, that's 29 yards. So the Grounds have a $135 to try and take it 75 yards and add to this 17-point lead. Why not go for a little bit of a jugular even though it's out of character?
Yeah, I mean, sitting from this spot, let's do it. We got no worries here. But again, any momentum change can change it all the way, and that's
But at the same time, if there is any momentum at work right now, it is in our favor. So take advantage of it.
And I would tell you, I'm going to wait and see what their defensive secondary aligns like before I say, hey, let's do this.
Greyhounds, I believe, have 2 timeouts remaining. I formation set. Robinson turns, hands it to Shizzle. Shizzle's got room across the 30, up to the 34, gain of 9 on first down.
So they're not going to hustle with this. This, Scott, if I'm going to do it on any down, I'm doing it right here. I have been pounding it in your face for the last 18 minutes. And so I'm not going to do any fancy rollout boot. I'm just going to kind of stick it in, ride, step back, and maybe hit Alex Fawcett on a seam, Owen Baker on a seam. If I was going to do anything right now, this is where I would try to throw the dagger, because you've got 2 plays to deal with.
Under a minute remaining here in the first half. Greyhounds 20, Oskaloosa 3. I formation again. Just a quick hitter to Simpson. Simpson across the 35, across the 40, brought down at the 41. That's a gain of 7. Nolan now at 9 carries for 125 yards and a touchdown. 3 different Greyhounds tonight have touchdown carries.
All right, so I'm going to get a little close to you here, and I'm going to point out to you this outside linebacker in the corner are up so far and outside that if you were going to have a play, this is where you'd have that wingback tight end pop. That there's nobody, they're playing outside because they don't want to have anybody come run sweep. And they're playing everybody else inside because Nolan and Noah have been running so well there.
1st and 10 from the 41. Robinson almost lost the snap. Able to come down with it, takes it up to the 45-yard line. A gain of 4, and that may be the final play of the first half as we go inside of 10 seconds. And, in fact, it looks like it will be, as Jim Krekel willing to just say, you know what, 17's enough for the first 24 minutes. We'll go in and talk about how we build on that coming out of the locker room in the halftime break. A very, very impressive half of football on both sides of the ball for the Billington Greyhounds. They score 3 times on 5 possessions, a little skewed because the 5th possession was this last one that ended the half. But 3 touchdowns and 4 possessions, you don't see that all that often, especially against a team the caliber of Oskaloosa that came in on a bit of a roll after beating Knoxville last week by the score of 28-6. So we'll see what the second half holds. Don't go anywhere. 20-3, your halftime score. Burlington leading Oskaloosa. We'll step away for 5 minutes. As always, John and I will try and find some halftime scores. In the meantime, enjoy some news, some sports, weather, maybe the stylings of man in the studio, Chris Arnett. Whatever he's put together for us, we'll talk about on the other side. Greyhounds by 17, back in 5 minutes on KBUR. It's halftime at Bracewell Stadium.
It's taking over. There's no escape. Over your shoulder. Don't look away. Get your mind right for something. The time is right now. You're standing still. Only one choice now. Battle uphill. Get your mind right for something you ain't ever seen. You better get ready on it. Start to go down. Here it comes now. Ready on it. Start to go down. Here it comes now. Get ready. Earth is shaking, the ground is quaking. Here it comes, here it comes. Get ready. Fire's blazing, storm is raging. Here it comes, get ready. You better get ready on it. Here it comes now.
Your BHS dance team. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, the Marching Greyhounds will perform music in the 2003 award-winning musical Wicked. Selections we perform include No One Mourns, The Wicked, Dancing Through Life, Defying Gravity, For Good, and No Good Deed. Tonight's soloist, Cervantes Jackson on trumpet, and Caitlin Burkeiser on the horn. The band is led from the field by drum majors Alphaba, played by Catherine Taylor, The Wizard of Oz, portrayed by Jason Stivers, and Elena Yeager as Galinda. the first half statistics for Oskaloosa, 9 rushes for 13 yards, 13 pass attempts, 5 completions, 1 interception for 51 yards passing. Total first half offense for Oskaloosa, 64 yards. The Greyhounds, 26 rushes for 196 yards.
Speakerphone and on the air, so don't talk if you don't want to, but maybe reach out to John's wife if you'd like to still try and find it on YouTube.
There seems to be some question as to where the link is.
Okay.
So
talk to you later. Hey, look at us. Camera does add 10 pounds for you.
Well, 10 pounds in the right way. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would take a look at the professionalism of both on-air personalities, I just want you to just question who
wore the collar shirt.
Yeah, I just wanted.
Yes, yeah.
Right,
I wanted to beat you to that punch so that you couldn't get on me too bad. This is I said this. I think this is the first time I've never worn a collared shirt.
It really is.
Normally I wear my purple, either my purple Greyhound football that I've worn probably for 10. I think you gave it to me.
2005.
It was one of my first pieces of swag I ever got. I know last week I wore my Burlington volleyball collared shirt that I got from former coach Amber Tager when I did PA for the volleyball program. That was free swag. But yeah, I mean, I was in COVID state of mind. I actually was napping until 3:30 today, so I was not necessarily worried about my wardrobe as much as I was worried about making sure I had enough energy.
Marv, I got you. Marvin Thompson. Search Burlington CSD live stream for YouTube.
Burlington CSD live stream.
Got that? Hey, I got a secret that I want to tell you. Nobody else needs to know.
Okay, go ahead.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I don't have any gear with the new logo.
Ooh, sounds like a Krekel problem.
Shh, I
won't tell anybody.
Any gear.
I won't tell. Nobody listens to us, so I know that it will never get back to Coach Flaherty or to Coach Krekel. That Coach Flaherty has not. You know what? Neither do I.
Well, the Pregame shirt.
Yeah, I've got the Pregame shirt.
But I don't have a pull-up with it.
Hey, they're playing again. Winky gets us back underway. Going to be taken at the 10-yard line by Lawrence. Lawrence across the 15, 20, and brought down just short of the 25. Actually stumbles forward and wrapped up around the ankles and falls forward that extra 6 feet because he is about 6 feet tall. So it's a return out to the 26.
There's no doubt about it.
So first down at 10, trailing by 17. Oskaloosa will start from its own 26 here to begin the third quarter. 68-yard touchdown run by Nolan Simpson, a 17-yard touchdown run by Caden Shizzle, and a 5-yard touchdown run by Dimitri Donald. The 3 scoring plays for Burlington. For Oskaloosa, Linus Morrison 26-yard field goal to make it 20-3 as we start play here in the second quarter.
And the Indians come out not looking like they're in too much of a hurry-up mode, I guess because of the fact that they are a big strike team.
Willett turns and gives it to his tailback. That's Dom Pearsall. Nothing doing tonight for Pearsall. That's his 9th carry, 7 yards as he gets nothing on that carry.
Shilka, Hoffman, and all the way from the safety position is Alex Fawcett for no gain. Puts pressure here on this Oskaloosa offense that's struggling tonight.
Second down and 10. Willett claps his hands. Single setback remains Pearsall, 2 to the right, and Lawrence and Bolaball. Bolaball in the slot. No, make that Lawrence in the slot. Now he comes in motion right to left. Give to Pearsall. This time he's got a little bit of running room, but runs right smack dab into the middle. Big number 7 for the Greyhounds, Nolan Simpson, who drops him after a gain of 3.
Yeah, and then Gunnar Short comes in and adds his little licks to it. And you're playing behind the chains. This is not, even though you're a big strike offense, this is not the way Oskaloosa wants to play. They want to be in the same position that every other team wants to be. They want to be in second, short, second, third, and manageable. But this is a little more of a struggle for the Indians right now.
Pearsall limps off the field, replaced by Tatum Westerkamp. Now we'll talk a little bit about this offensive imbalance, too, for Oskaloosa. 5-1 passing yards to rushing yards. So if you can make them one-dimensional on the rushing side, you got a good chance to win. 3rd down and 7 from the 29-yard line. Willett back to pass, looking right. Throws deep down the right side. He's got a man if he didn't undershoot him. He did undershoot him, but Lawrence able to make the catch and brought down at the 33-yard line after a gain of 29. That's 21 plus 17. That's 38 yards.
Sparks, Scott, Sparks. You can't let guys get behind you if you are the free safety, and this is the inexperience of Derek Watson, who saw a quarterback just kind of standing and let the receiver run by him and had to play catch-up. Now, he does a great job at trying to get a ball disruption, but this is a big play that we've got to find a way to get back out of.
Oskaloosa 1st down and 10 at the 33. That's going to be a give to the backup tailback, Westerkamp, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That's a loss of 3 outside the 35, back to the 36.
Pearsall getting some work down on the sideline, Scott. If he's going to be down for a while, this is in good news for the Greyhound defense.
So 2nd down and 13. My apologies. I had to put the roster in my mouth while I typed stuff. 2nd down, 13 from the 36-yard line. Shotgun formation, still for Willett. Going to throw deep down the right side this time. Right down the sideline and has a man, but did he keep his feet in bounds? He did not, and I believe that's A.J. Lawrence again. It is A.J. Lawrence. Incomplete, so it'll be 3rd and 13, but a nice pitch and catch no matter what by Willett to Lawrence.
Add to that great defense as you're looking at this. I mean, Pfeiffer's right there step for step. Willett's got to put that thing right on the money.
And he did.
I mean, that is, you can't call that any closer. Great job
left
by
foot,
everybody around.
Left foot was in, right foot was out.
Right.
And the right foot hit first.
Right, so here we go, 3rd and 13. Underneath, shovel passes, maybe some tunnel screen action, maybe even a draw.
From the 36, Willett, screen pass, left side. He's got Grubb to the 30, inside the 30, dives toward the 25. Going to be stopped at about the 27-yard line. That's a gain of 9, short of the 1st down by about 4 yards.
He is a load, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you what, there's not a lot of hip and escapability there. He's just going to lower his shoulder.
He's not trying to avoid people.
Give you shoulder pads and knee pads. Here you go, a no play, something quick.
4th and 4 at the 32. Or make that the 27, my apologies. 4th and 3 from the 27. Willett throws between the hashes. He's got a wide open man, overshot Lawrence. Lawrence turned inside, Willett threw outside. That was 6, but the Greyhounds dodge a bullet right there.
The great thing about that pass, Scott, is that there was nobody within 10 yards of the ball on either team. So it's a situation, they're playing cover 4, but we've got to get those safeties a little bit more inside the hash because Alex was about halfway between the sideline and the hash, and so was Derek, waiting for that outside contain. So
I have to give Mr. Thompson, Marvin Thompson, a shout out. I just got it very emphatic, and it, if you can read excitement into texts, got it! Exclamation point.
There you
so
go.
My wife finally able to watch on live stream by herself tonight. Kids came to the game. She said, boy, it's going to be really nice to have a quiet night at home. So I guess she's telling me I better be able to talk when I get home, but good not now. Here's Simpson right up the gut on a quick hitter. Up to the 29-yard, or make that the 39-yard line. My apologies. 12 yards on the carry and a 1st down for the Greyhounds yet again, and the dominance on the ground continues. 10 carries, 137 for Nolan Simpson.
2 Warriors in Simpson and Grubb loses his helmet trying to attempt to tackle Simpson, and now he throws his helmet down on the sideline as he is not happy about whatever has just occurred, and I think he's got a little bit of an injury. I think they're looking at his shoulder again.
He's kind of skulking around over there, just ready to get angry at somebody. 1st and 10 from the 39. Robinson with the play-action fake. Almost sacked, evades, throws left side. Scott Shizzle up just short of midfield. I think it's Shizzle.
Get up.
Or is that Fawcett?
No, that's Alex.
Yeah, that's Alex.
That was almost the David Tyree catch, a la New York Giants, New England Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, the helmet catch?
Yeah, and he caught it on the back of the defender but the defender drove his helmet into the ribs of Alex and kind of caught himself out of breath. They're trying to say that it was a fumble, never had control of the ball. But what a great job by Gabe to make an adjustment, step around the defender, and get a nice touch on the ball.
So the incompletion will bring up 2nd down and 10, and I wonder if Alice will get mad that I didn't give him initial credit for the drop. He did take
Why
offense
don't you
with
just
me.
shot Owen Baker all the time?
Every time somebody touches the ball at receiver, call it Owen Baker. Owen Baker under center, turns and hands it to Owen Baker. Owen Baker around the left side. Actually, that's Caden Shizzle. Shizzle up across the 45, just buries his shoulder into the chest plate of a defender and able to get up to the 49-yard line, a gain of 10, and potentially a chain mover in the shoulder where the breastplate that he hit remains on the field. That's just deciding that you're going to inflict punishment Walter Payton style.
You know what? Never Die Easy, right? What a great book by Walter, and the ability to make sure that if you're going to be the running back, you deliver the blow. And you know who exemplified that back in his day as a Greyhound? Assistant running back coach. I'm going to go beat
Josh.
to the punch. Josh Osborne. Ramondo Randall and Josh Osborne have done a tremendous job with these running backs. Not trying to avoid too many people. When you know you got to make contact, you might as well go ahead and go shoulder pads and knee pads and make people feel something.
The thing you forget about Josh Osborne, because he was so fast, was that he was powerful. He was absolutely a powerful running back. One of those backs that was fast but had tree trunk. He reminds me of an old time, and this predates you, but Baron Darnell.
Sure.
Baron Darnell had one thigh that was big as my entire waist.
Right.
And dude just ran on tree trunks but had speed to match. If he got to the second level, you had trouble catching him. And when you did catch him, you were like, now what
am I going to do with him?
Which part of this 125-year-old sequoia tree trunk do I try and chop down? That's something that nobody thinks about with Josh because he was just so darn quick. Here's an inside handoff, a counter to Nolan, and Simpson across midfield, barely to the 49 of Oskaloosa, but a gain of 2, a positive move. Of the 30 carries for Burlington tonight, 27, or 25, I should say, 24 have been for positive yardage. Only 2 negative yards runs.
Give credit to Oskaloosa's Caden Johnson for sticking in there, getting into the A-gap and disrupting that trap, making Nolan have to bounce out a little bit further than he wanted to.
2nd down and 8 from the Oskaloosa 49. Shizzle off the right side, just kind of works his way forward, matriculates the ball down the field. Gain of 4 to the Indian 45, I should say.
And you just see so many of these Oskaloosa Indian players getting up. I just saw Maddox Ashman. He's getting up and he's grabbing his shoulders and elbows. I mean, it is like we are in constant peril here as these guys are just pounding on us. And, of course, taking your time, eating the clock is always so nice for us.
Play clock at 10, game clock at 6:40 left in the third quarter. Burlington 20, Oskaloosa 3. It's where we were at halftime. Robinson on 3rd down and 4 from the 45. Simpson hops over the interior defensive lineman. He's got 1st down yardage to the 41, a gain of 4, and another chain mover methodically driving the football field is Burlington right now.
You know, and a lot of people won't see this on film when they're watching it on YouTube, but you see the technical soundness of a Julian Perez Hall. Most of the time he's having to block backside and the wall off guys, and there is just no penetration from that A gap. They have to step out in the B gap, and that's just the reason why this offense is able to get the ball down the field so easily, because it starts with the man in the middle in Julian Perez Hall.
1st down and 10 from the Oski 41. This time Robinson kind of fumbled the snap. It came up to him nicely, but he lost handle. Don't know if he was trying to pivot. I think it was going to be a keeper by design, but instead he just kind of got swallowed up, a loss of 2. Back to the 40. Now they're going to say 1 now at the 42.
Yeah, a little confused on the scheme right there. I just spent a minute and a half, extolling all of Julian Perez Hall's backside blocks, and he goes and he steps play side to the linebacker. Adam, don't, Coach Glasgow, don't do that to me.
2nd and 11 from the 42. Robinson, play action fake. He's got pressure from the backside and gets sacked brought down by Bolibaugh, back by midfield. Loss of 7, back to the 49.
This is just automatic stunt play from the defense of Oskaloosa. They know when action goes away, you need to get as deep as the deepest back, and so this time it was the corner's responsibility and Bolibaugh, and he just is on a hunt and destroy from his cornerback spot and was able to get a sack. This is not where Burlington is at its best, at 3rd and long. There's not a whole lot of 3rd and 18-yard plays in the book.
So 3rd and 18 as we count down to 4.5 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Greyhounds on top, 20-3. And now a timeout going to be called as the play clock was at 0, and I guess they'd rather talk it over than take 5 more yards.
Because I really know there's not 3rd and 23.
There may be a 3rd and 8. There was last year. It was called Give It to Bryant, see what he can do. We'll take half that time. Let's step away for 30 seconds. 4.5 remaining 3rd quarter. Greyhounds by 17 on KBUR. 18 on 3rd and 18 from the 49-yard line.
Oh, to have the annexation of Puerto Rico right now.
Robinson turns and gives it to Simpson, just a quick hitter, and Nolan's going to get up to the 45, a gain of 4. So the Greyhounds will be content to get as much as they could and then just flip the field and tilt it downward and force Oskaloosa to go 80 to 90 or more yards for a touchdown.
Punt number 3 on the 2022 football season.
Bolibaugh drops back deep for Oskaloosa. He will set up camp inside his own 15. Simpson with his heel on the Greyhound 42 to kick it away. Good snap. Nice step into it. Oh, nice little, got to turn over a little bit. Bolibaugh from the 12. Near side, taking it far side. Gets around a defender, 20, 25, 30, 35, running up the far sideline. Stutter steps out of bounds at the 40. Actually the 45, maybe even the 46. So good field position for Oskaloosa, still trailing 20-3, but coverage breakdown right there is nobody had contain on the left side of the formation, and Bolibaugh was able to go from near side to far side without much interference and just ran out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
That's your left side tackle, Scott. They have the coverage lane on the numbers. They have to be on the numbers. Your guard has to be on the hash marks. Your center and your widest guys go directly to the ball. So you got to be able to fan out and then have your back 3 protectors be the safety guys.
Pearsall back in at tailback for Oskaloosa on this drive after missing the last half of the last drive due to an injury. So Pearsall to the left of Willett, and now a flag thrown. No, they're going to take a timeout as Oskaloosa. Timeout Oskaloosa. So 3:42 remaining here in quarter number 3. We'll step away for 30 seconds. 20-3, your score remains. Burlington on top of the Indians, back in a half minute on KBUR.
Well, fans of Greyhound thanks Happy Joe's for donating pizza for the press box on game nights. You can also purchase a delicious slice of Happy Joe's pizza in the concession stand. And middle school students should be required to remain in the middle school section during both games, except at half times between games or with a parent.
Bracewell Stadium on the campus of Burlington Community High School. John Flaherty and Scott Mason along with you as we get set to come back after a timeout by Oskaloosa. 1st and 10 for the Indians on their own 46-yard line.
Go ahead. I just had to go get some post-game pizza. First down and 10 from the Oski 46. Here's a lateral given to the man in motion, Bolabal, trying to get around the left side. And good pursuit defense and stringing the play out of bounds, ultimately for a gain of, 4 to midfield?
Great job. This is, this is a freshman playing corner, Keyshawn Wilden, whose brother is Kobe over at Iowa Central Community College, doing a nice job of playing leverage. Caught the ball at 4 yards, didn't get any yards after the catch. That's exactly what you want to see happen with this defense. You have to make these Indians go the entire way at small chunks.
Second down and 7 from their own 49. Grubb was in motion. Here's a nice pitch and catch between the hashes to number 45 for Oskaloosa. That's going to be Jared Parks with the catch, the diving catch up at the 35-yard line, a gain of 16.
Cody Whitaker on the coverage there, but again, we're not getting contact on these tight ends and these wing backs on the inside slots, and we got to be able to get some help for the safeties, and if we don't do that, that's been their most successful play all night long.
3:15 and counting, third quarter, 2 left, 2 right for Oskaloosa. Pearsall the single setback. Here's a quick pitch and catch to Grubb. Grubb with just a little quick snap. He fumbled the football. Fumbled the football and able to catch it out of the air for the Greyhounds is big number 74, John Shulka. Johnny on the spot. Grubb had it stripped, and it went right into Shulka's breadbasket after a gain up to the 26 or so. And a just good team, everybody hat to the ball defense for the Greyhounds.
That's a peanut punch again. I'm going to give Nolan Simpson good job. I mean, he's in there, and he just punches at the ball, and that ball pops in the air. And, again, as you said, Scott, this is just team defense that hustles. You see in warm-ups every week these guys do what is known as the BIA drill, the Best in America drill, and they all chase and pursue down that sideline, and this is exactly how this plays out in a game.
Did you hear that song? Mental Health by Quiet Riot. Yeah. Robinson. Fake to Simpson, will keep it himself up the gut. Not much there, gained 1 to the 26.
I would tell you this would not be a bad time to go into that heavy formation again and go power like they did with Dimitri on the goal line. I know we're out in the middle of the field, but things are getting really tight inside. They do not want to have this quarterback counter or this fullback trap be the thing that eats them all up. So I would say that they would probably need to start thinking about getting into that heavy formation again.
Final 2.5 minutes of the third quarter. Second down and 9. Robinson under center. Turns and hands it to Donald. Donald tried to get around the corner but was hit and dropped by Grubb behind the line of scrimmage. That's a loss on the play back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
It'll be 3rd and 10.
Grubb is just so good. I mean, they're playing at about 4.5 yards back, and just watch that flow. Defensive linemen are the ones who are taking up the gaps, and he finds the open window, and he just smacks you.
Sorry. I asked my wife. I said,
you're not even paying any attention.
How do we sound? Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay,
Good play, blah, blah, drop it for a loss. I'll tell you in a second. 3rd down and 10. Gabe under center. Turn, play action fake, pressure from behind. Throws it deep down the left hash to Fawcett, undershot him. Fawcett was well covered on the play by Lawrence anyway, but the incompletion will bring up 4th and 10, and Simpson will have to kick it away for the 3rd time tonight.
Okay, we'll hear about Kelly now.
I said, how do we sound? Thinking you sound good for guys that have had COVID. Your voices are, good. Maybe even you get a little, hey, you sound kind of sexy tonight, big boy. Because she's my wife, right? You sound like 2 old men talking about football. Yeah, okay, so Simpson in to try it. He's going to kick it away from his own 15. That's me in 20 years.
No.
Taken by Bolo at the 41. Stutter step right, comes back left, now cuts back right. 45-40, 35-30. Got to force him out of bounds. No, he cuts it back inside. Jump stop, and inside the 20 goes Bolabal on that punt return. So Oskaloosa with a real scoring opportunity upcoming, but a flag on the play now at the 17-yard line.
Yep, and we got some emotional scenes at the end of the play here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Hopefully they're offsetting. But
2 flags, one at the 14, one at the 17. Three striped shirts are talking it over. The man in the white hat steps forward, gets his flag. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Burlington. We've not seen that story before, have we, John?
It's been a couple weeks, Scott, but again, when you have things, big plays that happen, you've got to be able to control your emotions.
You're up 17. Why would you even take a chance on giving them any yards they don't earn themselves?
I'll tell you this, Scott, that this type of offense, this becomes tough for an offense like Oskaloosa that plays inside the red zone like this.
The what?
The red zone.
The what?
The
Matt Rinker State Farm Rocket Mortgage red zone?
I was trying to set you up in that.
Okay.
So,
but they're at the 9. It's the super red zone.
Well, we need to find somebody else who will do that.
The Scott Mason John Flaherty.
But all of this
super
space makes it difficult to throw the ball.
Willett turns and hands it to his tailback. That's Pearsall. And Dom Pearsall able to get down inside the 5 as he's tripped up and falls forward to about the 3-yard line. So a gain of 6 will bring up 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line.
Rafe Butheris coming in, knifing in on the tackle there. Got to watch splits here. We got to find a way to get guys into A gaps.
Pearsall to the right of Willett. Turn and give to Pearsall. Pearsall evades a couple of tacklers, but stood up at the line of scrimmage, or I should say at the goal line and driven backward by guess who? Nolan Simpson. So Simpson was the last Greyhound with an opportunity to stop Pearsall, and he does. A gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and goal.
No time to flex. 2 downs here for them to get in.
No time to flex. Final half minute of quarter number 3. 20-3 Greyhounds, but Oskaloosa knocking on the door. Play clock at 17, game clock at 26.
Scott, if we go ahead and get a stop here, I might even flex. I mean, that's how big of a stop this will be for the Greyhounds.
Hope they get it on YouTube. 3rd and goal. Willett still from the shotgun. Turn and give to Pearsall. Hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped.
Cordero.
Solomon Cordero.
Weren't we just talking about the Cordero family?
We were earlier.
Man, great setup, great position.
This brings up, I know this is the only thing they do, but Matt Nagy would drive me nuts with the Bears last year. And for the, I guess for that matter, for all 4 years he was in Chicago. Why you go with that type of offensive set when you have 6 feet to go for 6 points? We'll talk about that coming out because it's time to put 4 fingers in the air. 36 in the book, 12 to go. Let's get ready for quarter number 4. The Greyhounds lead 20-3. No scorings in the 3rd quarter on either side. Oskaloosa, when we come back, knocking on the door. Back in 1 minute on KBUR. Down and goal at the Greyhound 5 for Oskaloosa as they come out of the quarter break. Willett back to pass, throws left side, undershot his receiver, went off the left foot of a defender anyway, incomplete, and the Greyhounds take over. First down and 10 at their own 5. John, do that again, and maybe they'll catch it on YouTube.
I've
flex too.
I've already flexed.
Yeah.
I've already flexed.
There it is.
Again. That's for you, Nolan Simpson. Man, great job. Did you not see the knockout shot by Owen Baker? They were crossing the tight end, and he was not going to get across to the hash marks. So, all right. So, 95 yards. Let's just go ahead and eat the quarter.
I'd be okay with that. 15 plays, 95 yards, 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Go ahead. Calling it right now.
All right, here we go.
Robinson under center, fake to Simpson, keeps it, gets to the corner around the right side, and a late flag
Don't throw your hands up. Don't throw your hands up.
What did he do? He was on the ground.
You just don't throw your hands up.
Robinson's got a first down if it stands, but it's in the area of where typically we get called for holding.
And I think it's going to be on Owen Baker. I didn't really see a whole lot, and I think it was because the defender was running away from the play.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza are just $1.
Personal foul.
Let's
personal foul.
Let's get to see what that was.
Personal foul. Too many yards gained. Half the distance.
I'm telling
to the
you,
goal.
this guy, he is our friend.
I don't know. An Oskaloosa
right
guy.
there. No,
what did they do?
I saw it. Watch. I hate to say it, but watch. Right here at the end.
Bake.
Yeah, just watch it at the end.
Oh.
You can't. I mean.
All right.
He is a defenseless player, and you can't. I get it. I get it.
So a 1 yard walk off. Take the first down off the board, but it's 1st and 11. Here's Dimitri Donald, spun down. Now he got thrown down really hard there.
That is Washington.
He got thrown down really hard right there. I'm not sure we shouldn't throw a flag for unnecessary throwing down.
This is scrub on the suplex that happened 3 weeks ago in Washington, where Nolan did the exact same thing. So
well, it's funny how it's a violent game, but if you get a little too violent, then we got to throw a flag.
During my COVID isolation during the week, I was watching some NFL films, and they were talking about rules, and they talked about unnecessary violence, unnecessary roughness, so there has to be a level of necessary violence.
Yes, exactly. Gain of 9, second down and 2, and here's
the no play.
Penalty. I didn't even see, I get so focused on the ball and the offensive players, I did not even see anybody jump.
The no
5-yard penalty. First down for the Greyhounds.
It is the no play. The shift.
Which doesn't typically happen on 2nd and 2, but hey, we'll take it because it'll move the chains.
Well, this is where Gabe actually finished up his run when the penalty occurred. So we are back to being net 0 for calls here.
First down and 10 from the 18-yard line. 10-20 and counting remaining in the ballgame. Greyhounds 20, Oskaloosa 3. Here's Donald off the left side. Plants his left foot, turns upfield, gets across the 25, near the 30, a gain of 11, and another Greyhound.
First time. I'm sorry. I'm watching some of the alignment here. There was something that was going on. I'm sorry. You know me. I watch the box.
I know, but if I set you up with another Greyhound.
Hey, you know when I said no play.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say we're even now.
Mm-hmm.
You were 1-zip tonight. Anyway,
do I really sound like the teacher of Peanuts?
We got away with a procedure penalty. Zay went a little bit too fast.
1st and 10 from the 29, and I saw that on replay. Here's Donald hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped by Grubb and a couple of others, a gain of 1.
Man, bodies are being thrown. Grubb just took a big piece out of Dimitri Donald, and Nolan Simpson decided to take a big piece out of Waylon Billabaugh. So I'm telling you, they are going to go down here in the next 9 minutes and 30 seconds, throwing some haymakers, which is good.
Greyhounds 20-3. It was this way at halftime. Nolan Simpson got things started on the second play from scrimmage with a 68-yard touchdown run, and it's been all Greyhounds ever since. 2nd down and 9 from the 30. Robinson, Simpson, straight up the gut. Nolan Simpson just pushing it forward across the 35 to the 36. That's a gain of another 6 yards for Nolan, who's now across 150 at 153.
You know, and Nolan has probably taken about 3 or 4 snaps off the entire night. You know, so that speaks, and he's played a heavy contact position on both sides of the ball. Scott, this could be no play time. This is where we like to do it.
You know, the interesting thing about the Simpson statistics tonight, you take out that 68 yards, he's got 13 carries for 85. It's been a good workman-like night for Nolan Simpson at fullback. And it was almost a no play, and again, Xavier jumped. They're going to call Xavier on that, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, actually, I think
it
was Dimitri or Caden in the back. I think he had a little flinch, too. But again, this is our friend.
Mm-hmm.
And
So I'll take it back to the 31-yard line. 3rd down and 8. Greyhounds in no real hurry. Again, ticking down toward 8 minutes remaining in the ballgame. A 3-possession lead for Burlington. So,
and this is, I know people would say, well, you got to throw the ball in this situation. I'm telling you, with a 3-score lead and you sitting here on the clock like this,
you've earned the opportunity to keep it on the ground. Robinson turns and hands it to Shizzle. Following Simpson around the edge. He'll get the first down. He's across the 40. He's to the 45. He's brought down at the 47, maybe the 48. That's a nice gain of 16 or 17 yards.
Oh, I know the game plan now, Scott. I got it.
What's that?
Go forward 5, back 8.
A rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
Side to side, front, back. When you got to get those yards, you rip off a big gainer.
Yep.
And you look at it, 68, 13, 19, 17, 17, 13, 11. Those are all your double-digit yardage plays.
They just don't have answers. You can't put everybody in A-gap and then defend C-gap, and you can't put everybody in C-gap to try to defend A-gap. Nice job by the offensive staff calling the plays tonight.
From the Greyhound 48, here's Shizzle again, this time off the left side. He's close to another first down as he dives inside the 45. And they're going to give him the 42. He is very close, depending on the change. They're going to move him. That's a 10-yard gain for Caden Shizzle.
Set him up. Here we go, Greyhounds. We are right at the striking point to make sure that we can get this thing put away here pretty easily.
7:05 remaining. As Fawcett comes off the field. We'll be inside of 7 minutes when this play is snapped. Simpson and Shizzle continue to be your backfield behind Robinson. Again, Caden Shizzle off the left side. Shizzle stutter steps inside of a couple of tackles. Gets to the 35, inside the 35 as he dives to the 32. And he may very well have picked up another first down. He does, another 10-yard run. So in the last 3 runs for Caden Shizzle, 3 carries, 37 yards.
Shizzle's like a set of fresh legs. He's had a nice job on defense and coverage, but as Nolan's done the heavy work now, they use some of this fresh legs, and in comes Dimitri Donald to add even a little more speed and some elusiveness here as we get closer into the end zone for the Greyhounds.
First down and 10 from the Oskaloosa 32. Remember, this drive started deep in Greyhound territory. Simpson right up the gut. He's got 5 to the 27.
He's just keeping both hands on the football. No need to drive for any extra. Let the pile climb on top of you. Take your time getting out. Let that clock continue to tick.
292 yards all on the ground for the Greyhounds tonight. 45 carries, averaging 6.5 per.
Who would have thought in 2022 that you could win a ball game with 0 passing yards?
Jim Krekel. Beyond that, not a whole heck of a lot of people. 2nd and 5 from the 27-yard line.
Double kick inside.
Here's Donald. Donald just following, that time it was Owen Baker. And Noah Nixon, who is leading the way for Dimitri Donald as he gets down to the 22-ish. If so, that would be a gain of 5. Close to another first down. They will spot it at the 22. They're going to say he's just short, though, of the first down, so 3rd down, less than the length of a football.
Grubb coming in and just still playing at a high tempo, even though he's been beat up too. I got to tell you, my hat's off to him. He's a quality player for Oskaloosa.
So 3rd down, less than 1 from the 22. Robinson turns, gives it to Donald. He's got the first down as he supermans it down to the 20. And once again, the Greyhounds enter the Matt Rinker State Farm Rocket Mortgage red zone after that gain of 2.
Great job of staying inside. A lot of young running backs want to try to bounce that out and try to get speed. He knows that moving the chains is more important than getting yards downfield. So good job by the young running back and Dimitri Donald. And a great job again. 3rd week in a row, I'm going to tell you, Coach Glasgow, Coach Walsh, and the rest of the offensive guys and those guys up front do a nice job.
1 yard shy of 300 yards for the Greyhound offense on the ground. First down at 10, ball resting on the 20-yard line. Donald again off the right side finds a little crease in the defense, and he's got another 6 down to the 14.
Scott, I've missed this for the last 7 plays here. Wyatt Messer is now playing center for the Greyhounds. And I don't I don't know if they're just resting JPH. He looks like he's got a little limp on the sideline, but I don't think he's any worse for wear. But that's a nice job by Wyatt coming in and take over. And I'm telling you what.
Gunner Short played that one to the whistle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, pancaked a dude right as the whistle was being blown
and
8 yards
He
downfield.
tapped on him like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm coming back next play.
Second out. Give to Donald once again, and Dimitri Donald off the left side gets stood up and driven backward just short of the 10, I believe.
Jaden Durande, the safety for Oskaloosa, coming in. And you know what? There's just piles there, Scott. We're going to be prognosticators, I think. We're going to be able to get this touchdown in the next 3 minutes.
So gain of 3 down to the 11. 3:12 and counting. 20-3, Greyhounds on top. No rush at all. And as I heard them say during the Cardinal game yesterday, when they played some guys who don't normally play, with a 9.5 game lead, you earn that. Well, Burlington has earned this opportunity to be very, very methodical.
Fact, here we go.
Here's Donald again off the left side again, inside the 10, into the super red zone. The John Flaherty, Scott Mason super red zone down to the 7, a gain of 4, first and goal.
I think they are really working hard trying to get Dimitri in to get a second score. I'd like to see Phillip Phillips get back into that fullback spot and run a trap and get something in. He works so hard on both sides of the ball.
Play clock at 19, and again, Burlington just kind of standing around in their huddle. Now we'll meander to the line of scrimmage just because the clock says we have to.
They look like professional linemen.
They really do.
Just meandering.
First and goal at the 7. Robinson turns and gives it to Donald again. This time he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Back to the 10. Looks like the 9 officially, so a loss of 2. But again, all that's going to do is allow Burlington to eat up another 40 seconds off the clock.
Yep. Again, just good job. Guys are trying to take their shots here. That's number 5, Tatum Westerkamp, getting in there along with number 34 for the Oskaloosa Indians, Lucas Tabukas. Haven't called his name
Lucas
all night.
Tabukas?
Yeah, haven't called his name all night.
Really?
Scott, if you take a look at the field and notice how guys are all penned in, getting outside may not be the worst play in the world.
Second and goal at the 9. Keeper by Robinson trying to get the left side, trying to turn the corner, gets the edge, bulls his way through a defender in Lawrence. Run out of bounds at the 4. Well, they're not going to get that call. They're wearing purple. Gain of 5 on the play.
Man, great elusiveness by Gabe here, and then good speed with a good set of, just intensity to lower his shoulder to get in there.
Look at the replay. Let it run, guys, back in the booth. On the white, a guy comes in and goes at his knees. How is that not a penalty? How is that not a penalty? Dude almost took his knees out, and it happened right in front of an official. Third and goal from the 4. Robinson with a quick hitter. I'm so mad about that. Honestly, it's like Justin Fields getting hit out of bounds.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let you go.
How do you not get that call if it happens right in front of an official? You take a kid's knees out like that, you're looking at losing a guy for the season.
If somebody gets hurt, then somebody really gets mad, and the film gets sent in.
Who made that carry? Any idea? Was it Nolan?
That was Nolan.
Loss of 1. 4th and goal from the 5 is Bob Engberst. I don't. It just adds to they seem to see everything that the Greyhounds do, but they didn't see that.
And we know the game's in hand, but you still make calls to protect players.
It's player safety. 4th and goal from the 5. Gabe trying to get the right corner. Instead cuts it up with the hash mark. Nothing doing. Stop for no gain. They give him 1. So with less than a minute left, 51 seconds remaining, Oskaloosa takes over on downs from their own 4. I don't understand. Because how wide is that boundary stripe on each sideline?
It's a
2 yards.
It's a 2-yard stripe.
All right. He was halfway onto that stripe, so he's a yard out of bounds. The guy took 2 steps and went at his left knee and rolled him up from the backside. Gabe didn't even see it, so he didn't have a chance to even protect himself.
Well,
I don't understand it.
No, that's
all now guys, don't do this. Don't do this late in the game. Willett.
Now you sound like an old man.
Yeah. Willett gives it to Purcell right up the gut, and I think Oskaloosa is just going to say, we'll take whatever yardage we can get and just get on the bus and start our road trip home with the 20-3 loss as Pearsall gains 2 and the clock at 38 and counting.
All right, so the smartest thing that we can do as Greyhounds is just play smart football. Don't get baited in anything. I don't see anything that they're doing that they're trying to bait into that, but just be smart. It's a frustrating loss for sure for the Indians.
Here's Pearsall again. Wanted to go left, brings it back right, gets the corner. 15, run out of bounds at the 20, near the 25. Looks like they're going to give him the 22, 23-yard line. 23, so that play started at the 22-yard line. Where did that play originate from? All right, I'll give him 16. No, I'll give him 15 because he got 2 from the 5.
And he'll be happy about it.
Yes. 15 carries, 31 yards for Dom Pearsall. 15 seconds as the clock stops because he went out of bounds. Make sure you stay right here for the post-game show after the final gun sounds or final horn sounds, or heck, when they ring the bell. Here's a shovel pass inside to Grubb. Wyatt Grubb gets around the right side, and he's got a first down up near the 35. It will be a pitch and catch, if you will, of 13 yards.
Anything to pad the stats here at this point in the game. But I got to tell you, Grubb's played a great game both sides of the ball. I don't mind giving him the rock a little bit here towards the end of the game.
And he did, unfortunately for Oskaloosa, play into a turning point in the game when Oski was driving. He fumbled and gave it to Burlington, and really the only
big
touchdown opportunity Oskaloosa had tonight. Here in the second half, trailing by 17, had a chance to cut into this Burlington lead. Here's a turn and a handoff to Pearsall.
Keep him inside.
Pearsall across the 40, up near the 45, dives for the marker. And they're going to give him the 43, so it'll be a gain of 9. And probably the final play upcoming, 3 seconds on the clock. The clock stops because, again, Pearsall dove out of bounds. So the White Hat gave the first down marker from a diagonal vantage point 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then realized, oh no, I'm short by about a yard. Second down.
It's kind of like when you're waving to somebody who doesn't really recognize who you are. I'm just going to scratch my head.
Willett turns and gives it to Pearsall on the game's final play, and he gets the 46. That's a 3-yard gain, but that'll do it. Burlington came out, second play of the game. Nolan Simpson goes 68 yards for a touchdown, and Burlington never headed in this one. Oski would counter with a field goal, but 2 additional touchdowns for the Greyhounds in the second quarter would make your final scores. There was no scoring in the second half. Burlington 20, Oskaloosa 3. Burlington now 2-1 on the season as they look to go on the road and take on the Ottumwa Bulldogs. Oskaloosa, in the meantime, they are now 1-2. And I'll tell you who they play next week if I can get to the schedule. My notes say that Oskaloosa will be at home, and they will play Keokuk next week. The Chiefs come to town to take on the Indians. But before we get there, we've got to get through some business here. It's going to be time for the postgame show. Tonight's postgame show brought to you by Orthopedics. My apologies to the sponsors, Orthopedics, Southeast Iowa Regional Medical Center, but that's in 2 minutes. We're going to step away, get ready for that postgame show. 20-3, Burlington wins tonight at Bracewell Stadium, back in 2 on KBUR.
Here are the final statistics for the game. For Oskaloosa, 21 rushes for 63 yards, 19 pass attempts, 8 completions, 1 interception for 115 yards passing. Total Oskaloosa offense, 178 yards. Your Greyhounds. the Greyhounds, 53 rushes for 317 yards, 2 pass attempts, no completions, no interceptions, for no yards passing. Total Greyhound offense, 317 yards. Best wishes to players, fans, and coaches on both teams for a safe trip home.
At Merrill Miller Senior Family Field for the Orthopedics Southeast Iowa Regional Medical Center postgame show. Orthopedics, SEIRMC. Don't forget they offer fall sports clinics for any high school athlete. No appointment necessary. They're from 8 until 9 every Saturday morning in the Wellness Plaza in West Burlington. Again, Orthopedics Southeast Iowa Regional Medical Center, your sponsor of tonight's postgame show, and a happy postgame show. 20-3 your final score. Burlington victorious over Oskaloosa, and John Flaherty as performances go in victories. I don't remember a more dominant, not just in terms of yardage, where, as I said, 315 to 169 is my total, but just where you never felt, for whatever reason, Oskaloosa was in this ballgame. I just never felt, after Simpson's run, and even after the field goal to cut it to 7-3, I never looked at this with any sort of, oh goodness, if this happens, Oskaloosa's right back in it. Burlington just seemed to control tempo and both parts of the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively, all night. They allow 43 rushing yards.
The thing that surprises me is the fact that we imposed our will so easily on a team that I thought was going to be one of the tougher teams that we would face all year, and Oskaloosa never seemed to be in the game emotionally. I mean, Grubb plays a whale of a game. Billaball plays well. I mean, I'll even give credit to Willett. You know, they're good athletes, but they just didn't seem like there was an emotion in them that had a desire to want to either exert themselves or to battle back. Now, they played hard, but I agree with you. Our will just seemed to be imposed on them at every position on the field on both sides of the ball.
Individually, Nolan Simpson led the way for the Greyhounds. 16 carries, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. That's 9.8 per carry. Caden Shizzle had 4 runs of 10 or more yards, finishes with 9 for 81. For you math majors, of course, that's a straight-up 9 yards per carry. Also a touchdown, a 17-yarder in the second quarter. Owen Baker, 1 carry, 2 yards. Dimitri Donald, 13 carries, 42, just over 3 yards a carry for him, and a 5-yard touchdown run. Gabe Robinson from the quarterback position, 14 carries, 33 yards. And Noah Nixon, a single carry, no yardage on that carry. 54 carries, 315 yards for the offense, 5.8 per carry, and 3 touchdowns, all on the ground. Robinson 0 for 3 in the air. Go ahead.
It is amazing to me that we really had 2 one-dimensional teams, and Burlington, by choice, doesn't want to throw the ball unless they feel like they have a way to get things going. But it really would be Jim Krekel's choice not to throw the ball at all, and he certainly decided not to after he got a lead. And again, on the other side of the coin is that we put Oskaloosa in a position to throw only, and they couldn't execute that, which is really a surprise to me because it was something I thought that they had done well.
Oh, I thought we were going to keep that all year, but we'll go ahead and give it back. The official's laminated sheet, which was so nice in the early going. Yeah, we should. The only person of note rushing the football for Oskaloosa tonight, Dom Pearsall. I have him at 16 carries, 34 yards. Again, we talked about this, or I made the comment of which you either ignored or just didn't hear. made Oskaloosa very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Even though that one dimension was what Oskaloosa does best.
Yeah.
They really kept Purcell in check all night, save for a 15-yard run on that final drive when the game was in hand and they were just trying to run out the clock. 16 carries, 34 yards. All told, the Indians rushed for 34 yards total on 18 carries. Tatum Westerkamp had 1 carry for a -3. He got dropped for a loss in his only appearance after Purcell went out in the middle of a drive in the third quarter. Waylon Bolaball had a 3-yard carry of his own. Trevor Willett at quarterback, 10 for 19, 126 yards, one interception, and no touchdowns. Obviously, the 3 points, the only scoring in the scoring column for Oskaloosa tonight. A.J. Lawrence, 3 catches for 42 yards, an average of 14 per. Wyatt Grubb had a good night catching the football, 6 catches, 72 yards. He did have the 1 fumble, though, after a catch, again, that seemed to turn the momentum back to Burlington. If Burlington had a place in the game where Oskaloosa seemed to be making some inroads and was going to cut into that 20-3 lead, he fumbled the football, unfortunately, a peanut punch, as you mentioned at the time, on the ground, 25, and from there it was just Burlington football the rest of the way. Jared Parks, a catch for 16 yards, and then Waylon Bolaball, 2 for 12. So the 2 outside receivers, Lawrence and Bolabaugh, they combined for just 5 catches and 54 yards. And this was a team coming in, again, a 5-to-1 average, had thrown for almost 600 yards as the wind takes my paper again. Almost 600 yards through 2 games. And, Burlington's defense did everything they had to do to dictate tempo, and that led to the offense being able to dictate tempo in their own right.
So, again, my hat's off to the defensive staff, Jordan Webb as the coordinator, and the rest of the guys. A very young, inexperienced. A lot of balls could go, if they would have fell into the right place, we might be talking about a different type of a game. But whatever happened up front caused that stuff at the back end, and you just got to give credit to the defense and really a great job of tackling. As the game got on, early on, I was a little concerned, again, because of Grubb just being so powerful, but just really a dominating defensive performance, which leads to a significant dominant offensive performance.
Well, we're going to step away for the only time during this post-game show. We're going to try and get you out of here by 10 o'clock tonight, only because, don't forget, the Radio Iowa Scoreboard Show, not on KBUR, but it can be heard at the beginning, or I should say beginning at 10 o'clock tonight on our sister station, Fox Sports Radio AM 1360 and 104.5 FM. And that's only important because I get to cut a post-game recap. Maybe I'll be statewide.
It's all about you. I mean,
it's always all about. Come on, man.
About you.
As a play-by-play guy, I gotta have ego.
That's right.
Gotta have ego.
And you do.
So when we come back, it'll be time for tonight's Area Recyclers Impact Player of the Game. John's got 1 or 2 or 3. I've got 1 or 2 or 3.
I promise I won't have 7.
We'll find out who those are on the other side of this back in 2 minutes on KBUR. Merrill A. Miller Senior Family Field, where the Greyhounds win tonight by the score of 20-3 to improve to 2-1 on the season. And I'm sitting here trying to snap some screenshots for one Brian Stocking. If you follow WQAD and the Score on Friday nights, Brian Stocking, he goes by Stockpile or hashtag Stockpile, and a lot of times Stockpile Gold up in the Quad Cities, a fixture at Davenport North. But he and I have become as much as anything, Twitter friends. I keep him in the loop as to what's going on with Burlington games. I guess they had people down here tonight. I didn't see any camera people, but they were here getting highlights. So he said, "Can you get me the score?" And I will, and I'll also get him some statistics as well. But snapping pictures, we're back a little early, but back here, John Flaherty, who is your Area Recyclers Week 3 versus Oskaloosa Impact Player of the Game.
You know, the obvious guy is Nolan Simpson. And I want to give it to him, but I have a feeling that we're going to be giving it to him more than just tonight. So I am going with a name that people probably, didn't hear a lot tonight, but I think it was very important the way he played quietly on defense and then getting us the yards we needed on offense, and that's Caden Shizzle.
I'm actually going to, how do I say this? I'm going to take the easy way out, and I'm not going to pick one person. And I do this quite often because, it's just one of those things where I thought everybody played well tonight. And how do you pick one guy out? It's easy to say, as you say, Nolan Simpson, because he led all rushers tonight. And he sparked this offense with a 68-yard touchdown run to get the scoring started, to get the momentum offensively going. But this entire team ran for 315 tonight.
Right.
We're talking about 6 guys who toted the rock for 315 yards.
Right.
So I'm going to give it to anybody. I'm going to do a John Flaherty. I'm going to give it to the entirety of that offensive line that, despite defenses by now knowing what they're going to get when they play Burlington, the thing I've kind of picked up on is Jim Krekel now has it deeply entrenched enough that I don't think it's going to matter moving forward who carries the football, who blocks for the ball carrier. This offense, he now has it entrenched in these guys' heads that A, this is what I want to do, B, it will work. And when you have that buy-in, C, the success. I mean, you're averaging the 3rd most yards in Class 4A coming in. You run for 315 tonight. On top of that, obviously a lot of it's going to come down to what can you do against the North Scots and the Fort Madisons or even a Tumwa next week moving forward. But these last 2 weeks, when they needed to defend home turf and win and get momentum back from that opening week loss, this offensive line and the rushing attack has done exactly what it had to do.
A game that they should have won at Washington.
Absolutely.
I mean,
very easily could be 3-0 right now.
Right. And as we get into it, everybody in the state is going to know that they've got to put 10 guys in the box and let one guy play cover 0 maybe over Alex Fawcett, because there is absolutely nobody else, despite your desire to see Owen Baker get some credibility in catching the ball, right now that Gabe has thrown to. And they're not going to say, okay, this is what we're going to do just because. Now, I'm going to tell you Jim Krekel is working on some pass game stuff because you just have to as a football coach. But you can't do both things extremely well when you have so many guys playing on both sides of the ball. And like I said, this is the last week we're probably going to mention that because everybody now is in basically football shape. And so, we really could go one step further and say we'll give it to all 30 guys on the roster because everybody was out and had to do, Derek Watson on the coverage, Aiden Pfeiffer on his coverage, guys stepping in, Deshaun Kennard as he kind of, after the first tight end, seam pass, got in there and started causing disruption. And you can just, Rafe Butheris, a guy we don't talk about hardly at all, comes in and makes, 4 or 5 really key stops for no gain to a yard or 2. Those are the things that as a team and as a coach and a coaching staff, you want to see everybody understanding that everybody's part is that important, and every play within this concept of offense and defense is a big play. There are, if you're a big play team like North Scott is and being able to throw the ball and get 8-9 yards at a pop, you can say, okay, we miss on a play here, we'll get it right back. Coach Krekel's deal is the same thing. Okay, we only got 1 or 2 yards, we'll be able to pop off 6 or 7, and we'll go ahead and be a 4-down team and go ahead and we'll use the no play, which is a great discipline concept, because a lot of high school kids, you can't execute it because they're just so intense about trying to get off the ball and count. So, yeah, I thought tonight was, real enjoyable. There was never, I just never ever thought like, oh, woo. I thought maybe on the one return, And when we got the personal foul at the end, I thought, okay, here we go. But we were able to catch ourselves and do what we were supposed to and get back and play.
11 rushes tonight of at least 10 yards of 54. So you're talking about fully 20 to 25% of your offensive plays went for first down yardage, which is a pretty good ratio, especially when you jump out to an early lead and you spend the second half basically just making sure the clock runs and you don't turn the football over. So I did take the John Flaherty way out, but this is a very impressive. Very impressive 2-week span, and now we head to Ottumwa next week, and you take on a Bulldog team that generally is considered to be Burlington's size, but they are a 5A school. So there's going to be some prestige associated if you can pull the victory off up there against a Bulldog team that has I know they were trailing again earlier tonight, but during the first 2 weeks of the season, started 2-0 because they rallied from 2 double-digit deficits in the fourth quarter to start that way. So this is a team that's going to be resilient. This is going to be a team that's going to present, obviously, balanced challenges like Oskaloosa did tonight. And this Burlington team is going to have to figure out a way again to move the football on the ground against a team that's probably going to be pretty big up front.
Having watched some film already on them, there are two things that they have going for them that the other teams that we have faced do not. They run the option. They run the old, if you remember back, Bobby Ross, Georgia Tech, double wing, Air Force, Navy, double wing motion, veer option. So they'll know how to defend the option. The other thing they have that we haven't seen out of any of the teams that we have faced, they have some edge speed that's pretty electrifying. They have some guys that we've watched on the option that have just truly run away from guys who had the advantage to get in and make the tackle. So that presents a really big problem for Coach Krekel, but I know that they are up for it, and it'll be exciting to see how they do it up in Ottumwa next week.
Well, the season marches on. We're at the same place that we were last year as Greyhound fans, supporting a 2-1 football team headed to the second third of a 9-game slate. Only one game left in the non-district schedule. How much importance do you put on the fourth game? How much importance, I guess, as a coach, do you put on 3-1 versus 2-2 as you look towards starting district play in 2 weeks?
Well, anytime that you have a positive record going into district, it just is momentum. And especially if this is a quality win. This is a big physical team in Oskaloosa, and you're going to face, as you mentioned, a 5A team. You win in your mindset, even though I think watching video that we are the better team than Ottumwa. But that's a mindset that, high school kids will all have, and the crowds will have, okay, 5A versus 4A. Here's a situation, you win in a 5A situation. That really does launch you, and then you're really looking at maybe 2 games left that are really red-letter games, and that would be North Scott and Fort Madison.
Yeah, the remaining schedule for the Greyhounds includes the trip to Ottumwa next week and then starting district play here in 2 weeks against Clinton. Now, the reason that's important, that's homecoming week.
Right.
And you've always talked many times about how, as a head coach, you hated homecoming week. Tremendous school spirit, and the atmosphere is always great, but as a football coach, trying to keep your guys focused was always a challenge. So that's how you start district play. Then consecutive trips to North Scott and Mount Pleasant before you finish up your home schedule in Week 8 against Iowa City Liberty, which is 2-0 in its own right, starting the season, including that big win at Kinnick 2 weeks ago against City High, one of the best teams in Class 5A, and then ending the season on the road at Fort Madison. So similar right now, though, being 2-1, and like you say, things bounce a different way on that second drive of the game at Washington. You could be talking about a 3-0 Greyhound team, and you're not. If fans and butts were candy nuts, every day'd be Christmas, as they say. But
right.
Noah Nixon, unfortunately, had the ball hit the turf that night as the Greyhounds were headed toward the end zone, the final 25 yards, leading 7-0. And you wonder if you're able to at least get 3 out of that, and it's 10-0. Instead of having that at least 10, if not 14-point turnaround the other way, and it's 7-7 instead, or 7-6 because we missed the extra point on the opening score. How does it start? This does mark 3 consecutive games where the Greyhounds receive, and then take the opening possession in for 6. So that's a nice trend to look at moving forward as well.
And I think they're going to stay with that. If they win toss, they're going to take the ball. I think that's going to be Coach Krekel's style. As I'm looking at the schedule, I didn't make a whole lot about the Liberty game because just like Oskaloosa, this will be Iowa City Liberty's first trip down to Bracewell, and they've made some other bigger trips, and I get that, but they've not. There's something about traveling down here. When we were in the
something
MAC,
about traveling an hour and a half anywhere.
Well, but being down here, I can remember when we were in MAC and all the the people that we've gotten to know, having been in the MAC, like, oh, those trips were so horrible, and it was just, I'm like, hey, can I just remind you that we made that trip 3 days a week, so just enjoy the trip. So I'm putting that at balance, and a great comeback win for us last year, and so that was, it was really, and launched us into a great Fort Madison game as well. And then going down to Fort Madison, that's going to be, I believe that's a revenge game. There's going to be some, unless both teams just somehow fizzle out. I think if both teams continue to play at the level they're playing, it's going to be another barn burner, and I'm a little worried about being in that tower, even though it's been reconstructed.
Well, and we'll cross our fingers that Week 9 this year will have as much meaning as Week 9 2021 did. Well, that'll do it for tonight. Greyhounds 20, Oskaloosa 3. A tremendous performance on both sides of the football for the Greyhounds as they lead from the get-go. Second play of the game, touchdown run, 68 yards for Nolan Simpson, and the Greyhounds never headed as they win by 17 and avenge last year's loss at Oskaloosa. So the thank yous begin. Thank you, John Flaherty, for pushing through tonight.
Sanitizer.
I'll hit that when I get home as well because I touched you. So John Flaherty and I powered through. Last thing I will say, too, is, and I meant to say this earlier, and I'm sorry we're going past 10 o'clock, but one of the things I heard early in the week was that COVID had hit the Greyhounds pretty hard. Not noticeable tonight.
No.
And so anybody who might have been diagnosed with COVID early in the week evidently had recovered, and anybody who stepped in, not a beat was missed.
No.
So kudos to coaching staff for preparing everybody, and for the kids who may have capitalized on their opportunities to play, accepting the next man in approach.
No cramp.
No cramp.
Not one cramp
on either side.
There was a couple on.
Were there?
Westerkamp was one that went down, but none on the Greyhound side. So that's good for us.
Well, my thanks to John Flaherty, as always, my tag team partner. We'll be back at it next week in Ottumwa as the Greyhounds take on the Bulldogs. I want to say thank you to Chris Arnett back in the studio, who flew solo tonight. I think this was his second week of flying solo, and no Steve Hexum looking over his shoulder. Did a great job getting us in and out of breaks. So our thanks to Chris Arnett. I want to give a couple of special shout-outs, too. First to the guys, again, from Broken Centrifuge. We always talk about them, it seems, at any home game. But tonight, the YouTube feed, they ran a camera out here on the patio for us. They put a big TV to our left. And I think the TV's always up here, but they made it so we could see it really well. But those guys were willing to do whatever. They were willing to even set us up in our basement.
If they could just get us a telestrator.
Yeah. Boom, bam. You got to work on that game, though, if you've got the telestrator.
Oh, I'd be at home all week doing that. I'm
You'd be
sorry,
at home watching.
I'm the Southeast Iowa representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'd have to call into my bosses and say, I'm taking half a sick day, and it would all be work on the telestrator.
Boom, bam. Here you got this guy going down here, and he pushes, bam,
comes
boom,
in there and
boom.
zoop.
Yeah, it'd be like a Batman show with you on the telestrator.
I'd just be making smiley faces.
And then I want to say thank you to Jay Huff, who, there were people up here that just intermingled with us. I hope they had as much fun kind of listening into how we go about doing things on and off the air. But I reached out to Jay on Thursday or on Wednesday. I said, hey, what's the chances of us doing the game on the patio? And he made it happen. So I want to say special thank yous to those guys as well. I want to say thank you to everybody out there in listening land who, if you were watching or listening along, hopefully you had as much fun listening as we do each and every week bringing it to you. And I want to say thank you to the sponsors who, if they don't pitch in, we don't get to hear ourselves on the radio on KBUR. So our thank yous to the following: Standard of Beaverdale, Ryan Schmidt's Flooring America, Danville State Savings Bank, Pizza Ranch, Courtesy Door Sales and Service, Pilot Grove Savings Bank, Ritter's Landscaping, Home and Garden Center, the Broadway Bar and Grill, Corey Richards, American Family Insurance, Edward D. Jones, John Hart Financial Advisor, Brown Shoe Fit of Burlington, Queso's Mexican Bar and Grill, the Des Moines County Historical Society, Diamond Vogel Paints, Matt Rinker State Farm and Rocket Mortgage, Zeisers Landscaping, and Roberts Tire Center. Most importantly, I want to say thank you to the most important people in my life, my wife Kelly, my son Ian, and my daughter Aubrey, who were at the game tonight. I think my wife was at home baking a couple of pans of brownies because they're headed to Iowa State tomorrow. Very quickly, your prediction.
I'm going to say Iowa State by 3.
I'm going to say Iowa -4, Iowa State -7. So Iowa will win by 3. Won't cover, but will win by 3 because they've come up with new ways to not score points and count it against themselves.
Well, I think you're going to see the offense explode. I think it's going to be a 69-52 game.
The old-time reference to the 2011 game at Davenport North.
I had to throw that in. I was going through some old stuff. I was like, how can I throw that in tonight? So,
well, there you go.
There you go.
Gave it some forethought and got it done.
Yeah.
Quickly, you want to hear my big take Sunday? Bears will win.
Patriots will win.
Bears will find a way to shut up the haters for at least 7 days and upset San Francisco at home.
I'm going to go one step further. Trey Lance does not have the day that everybody thinks he should have.
I'm going to go one step further. I bet the Bears win over 6.5 games this year.
Oh,
they're not as bad as everybody thinks they are.
See, I'm going 9 wins.
The national narrative is such that the Bears have done nothing to prepare Justin Fields. They were in cap purgatory. We'll talk about it more next week. Anyway, we got to get up.
Bears win 9 games.
Yeah, okay. I'll take 7.
Patriots win 17.
You say 9. 17. So that'll do it from Merrill A. Miller Senior Family Field at Bracewell Stadium. Once again, your final score, 20-3. The Greyhounds take care of business against Oskaloosa, avenging the 2021 loss. They sit at 2-1 as they head into the final non-district game next week at Ottumwa. As I say every week, this is my new ending line. It's not goodbye. It's just we'll see you later. And we'll see you later next week at Ottumwa. Thanks for listening tonight. Hounds win 20-3. Goodbye until next week.